Now are we live? Test. Yeah, that sounds way better.
We had an audio difficulty again.
Technical difficulty. Please stand by. We're back. All right, cool. Mute us there.
It's a very scientific system of technical checks there. You check it on your phone. It's still playing somewhere. Oh, wait, is that my phone?
Oh, I hope that's not me. Because I thought I was checking. No, that's not me.
Last time it was in the house with us, it was upstairs.
Yeah, I love that. It's coming from inside the house.
Get out, it's in the house with you. I do hear it somewhere. It's a big week. It's actually such a big week. It's good to hear everything twice.
Yeah, all right.
We got the Follow the White Rabbit. We're going to have a new AEW champion within the next couple of hours. If you're out there and watching us live, feel free to drop them spoilers in, or we might follow along on our phone and do it. But like JJ, like you were saying, whoever wins does not need to be fed immediately to MJF. But man, he's going to get a pop. He's going to get a pop in New York.
Oh yeah.
We got to talk about that.
Okay, that was my phone. Sorry. Okay.
Last week it was upstairs. This time it was downstairs in your pocket. You got a rocket in your pocket. So yeah, I'm worried about spoilers for you. We got 2 big spoilerish movies. Pearl is not spoiler. Pearl is an experience.
I think I
Pearl's there we are. What's up?
Oh, hey.
YouTube. It's Jeff. It's Mario. And it's JJ. JJ's in the house. Yes. Bringing him in there. He's our good luck charm. We have a really hot segment. If you go through our video library, the Why Aren't You Watching? He has some great recommendations that are in there.
Apologize for the technical difficulties, folks.
But we fixed it.
Yeah.
The world, an imperfect place. Screws fall out.
I don't really know computers. I just kind of like set this up.
He says he doesn't know computers, and you should see this studio. It's freaking amazing. So I mean, come on.
It's good stuff, man.
Oh, yeah.
We got the Barbarian movie. Got a yes to spoilers. We got the Pearl movie. No really spoilers. Clerks 3, heavily spoilers. Then we get into speculation territory when it gets into simulated combat known as professional wrestling. We're going to follow the White Rabbit and see where the White Rabbit takes us. And then, like we were just talking about, who is going to be the AEW World Heavyweight Champion?
We got Grand Slam in like 15 minutes. We're going to do live updates, or what do you think?
Yeah, I think we should do. I think we should do live updates.
We might as well.
Yeah, I think we should. That's the big match. What we know, here's my theory, and we can jump right in. We can do this one first. That I feel like the Acclaim has to go over, and they're going to get a monster pop. They're going to be over in New York. Scissor me, daddy ass. Everyone's going to be chanting it. I feel like the Swerve in Our Glory, this is their chance to turn heel and really get the Acclaim over. Since that's going to be the big pop of the night, what is going to happen when Bryan and Mox fight? And are we going to get the Heist of the Century AEW edition with MJF running out with that chip, cashing out on in his home island? He's in Long Island. He's right up the street from Plainview, Long Island, New York, home of MJF. Is he going to steal the title in his hometown?
Well, what is your prediction, Jeff?
Oh man, I feel like he's going to steal the title. As much as I don't, I'm still disappointed that Cody didn't get a run. So I really think it's very important for the lineage of this title for Bryan to get a run. Mox is the soul of the company. Yes. He got his run, and he'll probably have more runs. Jericho had his run. You need these people that are given the rubs, right? Kenny got elevated when he won the belt. The only one that didn't really help the belt or the person was Adam Page. I feel like he almost went down a little bit after that belt. So I don't know if they waited too long. So
he got it too late.
Yeah, so
that's been the problem with AEW.
Yeah, he got it way too late. And then of course Punk got it and lost it, and then got it and then lost it
immediately.
So
he was champion for a total of like 4 days or something like that.
Yeah,
and he's had it twice. Mm-hmm. 2-time AEW champion for 4 days.
Yes.
Hey, he'll always go down. He'll have that, in his record. He'll always go down as probably
2-time. Yeah, you won't.
2-time shortest.
Yeah, they won't count shortest. You don't know that Flair did that with, like in Japan, like an overnight stay for a cup of coffee, and then he gets a title reign.
You just hot shot it.
But yeah, right. Here's a fun fact from a friend of the show, Jason Smith. So there's been 3 companies that Punk has either walked out on or had to leave that followed up with a reign of Bryan Danielson as the heavyweight championship.
I saw that stat.
So how crazy is that?
What are the companies?
Well, yeah, you got Ring of Honor, AEW, and now if Bryan does it, AEW.
Wait, you mean WWF?
Yes. Yeah, that was one. WWF, Ring of Honor, and then AEW.
Yeah. Right.
So
I hope that happens.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I think a feud between Bryan Danielson and MJF is money. I think that is even a better feud than what we got with MJF and Punk. You have the hardcore, the new version of Brock Lesnar. I am a professional wrestler. He comes out, Mr. Trunks, Mr. Jacket, like very old school wrestling. But he knows how to work. He has a connection with the audience. And then you're going to have him talking smack to MJF.
I think it's a great matchup. That's like
feud.
a legit sort of battle of the two wrestling styles where it's like you're a talker or a legit badass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think there's a lot of potential there because I think that it leaves it open because like when it was MJF and anybody else, MJF Jericho, MJF CM Punk, it's kind of like a battle of words and they're coming at each other with, promos. That almost just slides off of Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, he just laughs.
Yeah, he just laughs it off. Oh, yeah.
He legit like a shoot laugh too. Like he's not like chuckling. He's like, oh, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, and he legit just comes off as, I told you, he's like a mini Brock Lesnar, like a Russian doll. You cracked Brock Lesnar open and Daniel Bryan came out, went to AEW. You know what I mean? He's got that vibe, and I think that it could make for a really good program or series of matches or however they do it. Storyline.
I'd say we're kind of we're underrating Bryan Danielson as we're underrating his promo ability.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have to talk.
Yeah.
We know how good he is from the go.
Yeah.
And so when he does talk, it means more.
It means a lot.
But if we listen, he can go, he can talk.
Yeah.
And so
he doesn't cut promos. He has conversations.
Yeah, and he can also he can control the crowd with his limited sort of like he doesn't cut like a lot of really smarmy lines. He's not a beautiful orator. You know what I mean? Yeah. But when you see him, when he gets control of the crowd and he can make them react.
He does. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. Mm-hmm. So he's not that. I guess what's really works for him is not the sizzle, but the steak. He's very organic on the mic. What he's saying, you can tell is probably not that scripted. He's thinking about what he's going to say, but it's not scripted. He's not saying anything to get a reaction. He's telling the truth. He's telling his truth. Right. And your truth, to quote Wayne, is a rock you can stand on. Your truth. So when he goes out there, people feel that. And they felt that, right, with the whole yes movement. Mm-hmm. And you can tell he's a man of his word. He still won't do it, and he can do it. Yeah. They never told him that he couldn't do it. You know that? Right. That was his. Yeah. He said he's going to respect the company and not bring it with him, and he challenged himself to rebuild himself. And I talked about this on the show before. I feel like that brought him down a notch. He was in the stratosphere, and that brought him down a notch as far as the super duper stardom. And now he's battling his way back up in this new version of him that he's a dangerous weapon.
Yeah. I really like mini Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's a great way to put it. And he's mini going Brock out Lesnar. There. He's stiff.
Russian doll Brock
Lesnar.
And on my movie trip last month, I drove through Aberdeen, Washington. He is that is lumberjack country. So if Brock Lesnar and or Bryan Danielson came out of the woods, I would have been like, yeah, that tracks. I would have a Bigfoot sighting, a Brock sighting, and a Bryan sighting. In that order. Beef jerky. I know you guys I was a mark for Total Divas in the beginning because it gave a lot of that BTS. Mm-hmm. But the good part of it is they started building the storylines, and obviously, Bryan's married to one of the Bellas.
Let me ask a question, and this is a legit question. Do you think... You both think the Acclaim's going over tonight, right? Yeah. Do you think that they will get as big a pop as they would have gotten at All Out?
Potentially bigger just because it's a New York crowd.
Yeah?
Yeah. They would have got a monster pop in Chicago, though. But I think this town will honor the pop. They'll make up for it.
I feel like... but also, Tony Khan's really built up tonight's show. And he's like, this is going to be the biggest thing we've ever done, kind of. Like, he's really selling this thing. And so if the Acclaim doesn't go over, it's going to be one thing if Bryan wins the championship, but it's going to be it's like, okay, cool, but we didn't get everything we wanted.
Yeah, it'll be an asterisk.
Yeah, and so I feel like Tony Khan is like MJF said, he's a big mark. And
he is, man.
That's what he wants too.
Yeah.
What was going on in the presser when he's just like, I'm not going to take it anymore, and he makes that he looks at everybody.
Yeah, I
Do you
don't
remember that
know.
part?
Yeah, I don't know. Like there's and his hugs, the way he closes his eyes when he hugs when he hugs it out with the guys.
Yeah.
It's very like Andy with Toy Story. Like these are my friends. These aren't my toys. Everyone's like, Tony Khan's got, his human toys that he plays with. No, he's like, no, these are my friends.
friends, yeah.
And they are his friends. I mean, I think his heart is in the right place. I think he is in the non-insulting version of a Mark in a good way, where he's the guy that, like, if we wrote to him and say, you need a rule book, because you do need a rule book. There should be a rule book, because you can't have heels if there are no rules to break. And that's one of Jim Cornette's biggest arguments with AEW. Nothing matters because it's the Wild West. But I feel like if they got a rule book, Tony Khan would write it and he would have it certified. And they would live by it. So because he follows the rules and he's following his storylines. And when someone yells out a stat like, this is the first time Mox was pinned, and Punk's like, is that true? And he's like, yeah, that's true. It's like, wow, you really know their record?
Yeah.
You think Vince knew people's records?
No.
Vince could remember yesterday.
Well, like Vince, apparently writers tried to come in and have these I can't remember what they're called, but basically they're like a Bible for the show and for the characters, and that way they could always refer back to, oh, okay, so this character did this. That way we could justify, actions later on down the line, and Vince was like, I don't think so. That's
Yeah,
not how this
and
works.
it's and they were right, and he was 100% wrong, and Vince was wrong more times than anyone's willing to admit. Because Mario, I may have told you, JJ, I didn't tell you when. Well, so we had a script we wrote, The Legend of Percy Merciful. We actually got it optioned. We were working with Moonbot Studios, and one of the first things that the producer told us when we were sitting there is like, get your rule book together. This is your universe. You build the rules of the universe before you start filling out the stories. Like, so you guys did it backwards. You already have the stories. Now you need to go back and write the rule book, and you make sure that you stay within those rules, because the audience knows. Some of them consciously know, most of them unconsciously know it. And wrestling fans, even more so, that they know, like, when people are, who should be going over and who didn't. And like you said, just going back and referring to stuff like, don't you remember Andre the Giant? He's afraid of snakes. Yeah. That's how you eliminated him in the Royal Rumble. But Vince got that from Vince Russo during the 90s Crash TV. Forget it. They're just wrestling marks. They're going to forget all about it. They're not.
No, man.
And now the new fans in 2022, like Mario said, this isn't the old ladies and the drinkers that want to fight you after the show. These are the Comic-Con goers that are keeping track of records and scores and buying belts.
And there's a whole other level of nuance that's added to that, because now not only can you is everything recorded and everything like YouTubeable, but also most people that watch television are interested in movies and stuff like that. They know how it's made. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They can spot the seams. They know when you fake anything. You know what I mean?
Oh man, yeah.
And so they can look up a YouTube video all about good storytelling. And it's like, you're not doing this in this video. You know what I mean? It's like there's just a lot more people are just a lot more savvy about the stuff they're getting fed.
Way more savvy.
Yeah. And something I found really interesting is that Tony Khan is respecting everybody's, for the most part, I think, everybody's past with each other. Or like, so if you had a feud with somebody back in Ring of Honor, then they might have like a tense moment backstage or something, and you're like, man, what's that about? Well, if you've been paying attention for 20 years, you might be, oh yeah, that's it right there. You can point to that immediately.
He's making his own Wrestleverse.
Yeah, he really is.
And that's good that he's doing that. For a lot of his flaws, that stuff I think is commendable. I think that's respectable because if you can't suspend your belief, no one's going to care about it. That means I don't buy it. Then how are the fans supposed to buy it?
Right.
Yeah.
So I totally agree with that. I don't even honestly know, besides those two matches, what the rest of the card is. I feel like Toni Storm is going again to defend I think it's another 4-way, right?
Is it a 4-way?
I think it's another 4-way.
I feel like it is, yeah.
What do you think of my theory about why Thunder Rosa didn't get over? Did I tell you this with the title, JJ?
Yeah, tell
Here's
JJ.
my
you
theory.
told
Here's
me.
my
I
theory
like-
why Thunder Rosa has not had a good title run thus far. The hat. I really think it
think
was.
so?
I really think it was the hat, and I get it, and you get it. You right? You get the look she's going for.
Yes,
If you're not from South Texas, you probably don't get the look she's going for, and she's going for a very specific look. But I
yeah.
think the hat was a problem.
I can agree with you there.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, it's she's going for that look, and that's part of the look.
How would you describe that look?
What is that?
Ranchera?
Yeah, there you go. It's like it's that ranchera, and she's trying to add the like the face paint, and she's got all the right parts.
Yeah.
It's just for some reason the hat, of course, the run and
North of San Antonio, no one knows what that is. I'm just saying. It's just a fact.
yeah.
It's just a fact. And I appreciate what she's trying to do.
Right. And so she'll get over with, people like you and I, with that look, but that's not going to connect with somebody out in Minnesota maybe.
No, you're 100% right because I don't think most.
I went to
people got
Minnesota.
it.
I ordered breakfast, and they gave me rice with it, with my eggs. I'm just saying. Chorizo and eggs and rice.
Oh, see, come on.
Things are different there.
Come on.
There's things are different. I loved when
Shout out
she
to
was
Minnesota.
doing.
It's a good city.
I preferred it when she was doing the cosplay. Like when she did the Wolverine. I like when Jade did She-Hulk.
That was such a good one.
Yeah, I just feel like that kind of stuff connects. If I was Thunder Rosa, I would have like put on a blonde wig and came out as Surfer Sting one week. Like I would have like honored some of the painted wrestling faces of the past.
Right.
I think honor that. But now she's just being true to herself. But is that going to get you over? Because I thought she should have been female Ultimate Warrior.
I don't think she's in that position yet. Because we all love Thunder Rosa, and she's getting over, and people love her, but she's not at that position where okay, now I can just be myself.
Yeah, not yet.
She does need the cosplay. She does need that Wolverine cosplay. She does need those extra things right now.
Yeah.
As much as we want her to just be her, right now she's not there yet.
No.
If she was Sasha Banks, yeah.
Yeah, Sasha can do it.
Yeah.
And that's, it was somewhat of a very mediocre title reign, unfortunately, and it was so hot building up to it, and we were waiting for it, and we waited probably a little bit too long.
I think you're right.
So that would have been good. So we got a few more minutes before it starts.
Before Grand Slam.
Yeah, before it starts.
And we follow it on Twitter.
Yeah, so I'm gonna break down the matches and get your guys' predictions. So we do start. Probably is gonna open up with this is on Rampage. There's gonna be a golden ticket battle royal. So you got Adam Page,
Augustus
Jay
Gloop
Lee.
versus Veruca Salt
yeah,
in a cage.
I got and that lazy bastard Grandpa Joe. Get it. The only time he gets out of bed when there's a chance of a fortune.
Mike
then all of a sudden he
TV
can walk.
does a run in.
Wham! You're dead. All right, so we see. So Friday's episode of Rampage is Part B. That's when you're gonna have Action, Bronson, and Hook.
That's on Rampage?
That's on Rampage.
Man.
That's disappointing.
With the Jericho appreciation.
But Rampage is Hook's show.
Yeah, that is the Hook show,
That's the
isn't
Hook
it?
show.
Yeah.
The Rock got the B show with SmackDown, and that worked out pretty
And that
well
worked
for
out pretty
SmackDown.
well, yeah.
So, but it looks like this is a pretty thick card for Rampage.
It's going to be 2 hours, I think.
Yeah.
2-hour Rampage. That's awesome.
Sting and Darby Allin against the House of Black, which I'm curious how that's going to work now that Malachi is leaving.
It's Julia Black and Brody King.
That's
Well, and Buddy
Julia
Murphy.
Hart. I'm sorry, Julia Hart.
Julia Hart. Yeah.
Julia Hart.
She should name herself Julia.
Julia Black. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah, you
Kind of
might
like
as well.
Anna J.A.S.
Tony Khan, call me. I got ideas.
This match I'm really looking forward to because I feel like this is going to be a shoot because like you were talking about, there's a history there. Eddie Kingston against Sammy Guevara. Remember he got suspended for he threatened to choke him out in the locker room and he
Both of
got
those
suspended.
guys, yep.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be a pretty...
And now
That's gonna be an
Eddie
intense
Kingston's
match.
really leaning into his like middle-aged soccer dad who's had enough kind of look.
Oh yeah, he grew up his head. I want...
Sammy Guevara is just like young punk in love with the supermodel.
Yeah, he's gonna whip him with a belt.
Yeah.
I definitely wanted to do Smokey from Friday when I saw Eddie Kingston. Tell your dad to cut his hair. Looked like he had a bunch of spiders on the head having a meeting.
He looks rough.
Yeah, he looks rough. But he has his message about like mental health, and there's like a 6-minute video. It's on our Twitter that I put in there. That guy needs the belt. He needs a belt. He almost does give that, and Jim Cornette may strike us down with lightning. He almost has that Terry Funk vibe.
That's what I'm saying.
Like
I think that
he's a desperado.
He could be the one to finally get the TNT belt over.
Yeah.
No one else has like elevated that belt. It seems to be just nowhere. It's just there. I think him winning it and becoming the people's champion, becoming sort of the representative of the underserved, he could do something with that.
Yeah.
He could be something.
Man, I think that would be great to have him do that. So hopefully he gets his run. And then Jade Cargill is going to be working Diamante. I feel like they're just rushing her into match after match. I feel like she hasn't gotten
Jade Cargill?
Yeah. She hasn't gotten that money match, and it didn't work out with Ember Moon. We thought it was going to the Fallen. What's her new name? The Fallen Angel.
Fallen Goddess.
Goddess.
Best spot in that match was when Ember Moon drop kicked. What was it? Sasha Grey?
Oh yeah.
Into the wall.
Yeah.
That was rough.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that was really rough. Oh. So it is starting, and they are starting off with a banger. Chris Jericho against Claudio.
Ooh.
So they're opening with that match.
Was that announced?
That was announced last week, and he cut a really good. Chris Jericho, you give him 3 days notice, and he's going to cut a promo that's going to make you want to see the match. I don't care. He's still...
Chris Jericho going for the Ocho.
Yeah, he's going for the Ocho. Yeah, that's right. He's throwing I'm going out for the Ocho. And that was another thing, and I'm glad you brought that up. Tony Khan is letting them honor their previous world heavyweight title reigns, right? And obviously, he's counting his WWE title reigns. I don't know if he's counting, although he never had the world heavyweight title in WCW. That's why he left.
Right, yeah.
And he didn't get, I don't think he got the ECW one. He wasn't there long enough.
He did say WCW, but I think he was counting the when WCW's belt was brought over.
Oh,
I think he might be counting.
Oh,
that.
yes, he did. That's right, because he had the only man. I love that he still brings that up. The only man to beat The Rock and Stone Cold in the same night. Yep. So that should be a good match. Ray Phoenix and Jungle Boy is on Friday.
That's gonna be great.
What's surprisingly entertaining, and I'll admit it, I didn't think he'd get over as big as he has. It was Ricky Starks.
I knew Ricky Starks was money when he was in NWA before that Billy Corgan brought back. Okay. Before AEW was a thing, I saw him on there and I was like, and he cut a promo and he was working and I was like, that's Cruiserweight Rock right there.
Oh,
that's the Rock right there.
Wow, so it's that good. I didn't realize.
So I'm incredibly excited to see. He's the unnamed. He's the fifth pillar at AEW.
That's a good.
Have you seen that one documentary, JJ? It's on YouTube. It's a local filmmaker here. Did like a few years ago. Everybody knows the indie wrestling was really big here in Austin. Not so much anymore. But he did sort of like a documentary about all the local wrestlers or some of the local wrestlers. Ricky Starks is a big feature in there. It's worth checking out. And he's so soft spoken in that documentary. You can tell he's early in his career. You know what I mean? And you get one. It's like Ricky Starks is featured. Keith Lee's featured. There's Matt Hardy. Murder Hawk Monster, and you only see Thunder Rosa in like backgrounds. Oh. Like this was at the start of her career, I think, as well. You know what I mean? But it's worth finding. It's called Wrestling with Independence. Okay, it's just a YouTube documentary. Local guy.
That's awesome. Yeah, I definitely want to check that out. I still haven't seen it yet. But yeah, he got like his promo since he's turned babyface, and he's like this fired up babyface. He's getting the right pop, and I was like, okay, me, because he just really didn't do much for me since he worked Cody during the Pandy era, and I was like, yeah, I mean he's good, but Eddie Kingston came the next week. I was like, that guy's way better. Yeah, and then that guy's way better. And then they kept him in Team Taz for a while. Maybe he was buried in Team Taz. I don't know, because now this new breakout, and they're trying to get, and they need to get Powerhouse Hobbs over.
Oh, yeah.
So it was good to have these guys work each other and hopefully elevate. But I'm happy with that. So I'm glad they're going to get a match there. And then it looks like Wardlow and Samoa Joe against Tony Nese and Josh Woods. Tony Nese, another Long Island guy who he's man, I'm sorry, a guy looks like $1 million, just like Buddy Matthews, but what are they doing?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, what are they doing?
I'm a little concerned for Samoa Joe. He's been away for a minute, and you can tell.
Yeah.
He's been blown up his past like 2 matches, and I'm a big fan of Samoa Joe, and so I'm like, Joe, I just go get in shape and come back.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because he
Go
would
get
be
in ring shape.
He
You know?
would be ring shape, and that's right. That's when you're working your cardio. That's when Ric Flair said he was a 60-minute man, not only in a hotel room bed, but he can work a Stairmaster like no other. So it looks like the matches tonight, like you said, Claudio and Jericho are going at it right now.
Nice.
We talked about the Acclaimed and Swerve in Our Glory. I expect Acclaimed going over and a Swerve heel turn, and either Swerve turning on Keith Lee or them both committing to being heel.
It's got to be. I don't think Keith Lee's going to turn heel.
I mean, he's perfect to start working Wardlow. Wardlow needs bigger guys to work with, and I would like. We've talked about that. Samoa Joe's another one. Lance Archer's another one. They got to work to get these big guys in. I'd like to see eventually Wardlow against Claudio, but will we ever see that if they're both kind of in that baby face mode?
Right. Yeah.
Well, where's Miro? What is Miro? Is he a baby
He's
face or heel?
sleeping with his beautiful wife.
Yeah.
I love that he still gets her over.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
great. Am I the only one that wants to see her there?
I do. I kind of do. I was
I think
never
you
like
get
I
it.
was never like a real big fan of hers, but like he's really putting her over, and I'm thinking, yeah, I could. Okay, yeah.
I think
She needs to be there.
I think she'd get a pop. And here's the
would.
worst case scenario: she's going to get a pop, or she's going to get good heel heat. She's not going to get bad heel heat.
No.
So they just need to commit to a direction, because I don't even know if he's a baby face or a heel. He talks to God and he talks to Lana, but I don't know what that means for her.
Right.
But I want to see her. I mean, when she first worked that first match, and that's when she was still the ravishing Russian, and she had that accent, right straight out of Rocky IV. I thought that was great. She was so good. So then, and even when they started getting a little bit cheesier with her, but like lean into having them as a super unit. I want to see Miro and Lana teach Ty and Sammy a lesson.
What a wonderful idea.
Yeah.
Can you ping Tony Khan in this conversation?
I wanna see
That is
them.
a fantastic idea.
I want to see it, man. I'm just saying, I may have perused to see if they're hiring writers. WWE's hiring writers again, but strangely enough, I think they're always hiring writers. But for the first time, I feel like now there's hope for those writers.
Right. Now might be a good time to get in to the writers'
because
room.
I feel like they're doing some good stuff. We're going to talk about that.
I feel like maybe in WWE the writers are just kept in the writers' room and they're just like feed us ideas through a small tube, but don't come out.
Like bank tube.
Yeah, like a bank tube. You just write an idea down, put it up the bank tube, but you just stay in this neutral white, like sort of off like Severance, where you never
Severance,
interact with anybody. Send your ideas up the tube, and that's it.
But now that Vince is gone, the writers can sneeze.
Yes, they're allowed to sneeze and not get yelled at.
Yeah, they can, and then I think they can eat.
Yeah.
They can probably finally eat lunch.
And they're allowed to acknowledge their family, that they have a family at home.
Yeah.
So the WWE just added like 4 or 5 floating holidays.
Yeah.
For everybody.
Man, they're just like, they're getting over as baby faces in the front office and the back
Floating
office.
holidays. Wrestlers need floating holidays for sure.
Well, it was kind of ironic that a lot of times Punk was talking about that, how the wrestlers were getting screwed. He was alluding to that. But then when a scrum, not the scrum that we all know, but there was another
scrum from hell.
Yeah, there was another scrum before the scrum from hell. He's like, well, Seth is actually taking time off to be with his baby. And they're like, and he's like, they do that now?
Yeah, I remember that one.
Like, he had no idea. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's so. He was the voice of the voiceless, but now there's something else happening. Next match is going to be Pac versus Orange Cassidy for that All Atlantic and World. Oh no, it's just all all Atlantic titles on the line. I could have done without that title.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
It's
It's a cool looking belt though.
yeah, it's cool, and it's great for what they've done with it so far. Like, like Pac doesn't barely defend it at AEW, but he does in other promotions.
You told me about that, and that
and
I
so-
like. That I can get behind. So he's just representing the company outside of that, and if you're going to do that, cool. Because again, Tony, if you're going to do this, do it right. Become the head territory and take over NWA. Bring in Ring of Honor. Have a circuit going. And AEW is that main what NWA used to be, right?
Yeah.
I think they would. But, I think for the first time that I would have ever even guessed this, there is a chance that the forbidden door can be opened with WWE someday. Because here's the teaser that's coming up, right? They're talking, what's his name? The David Zaslav?
Zaslav.
Yes. You heard his next merger that they're looking at, WB Discovery merging with Peacock. That gets AEW and WWE in the same
What
universe.
if he owns all the wrestling? And then all of a sudden you'll have the Ultimate Universe crossover.
Yeah, I think he would. I think they would. I'd lean into WWE, and I think AEW. I don't know if they'd have to find a new. I hope that merger doesn't happen.
No.
I don't want that to happen. I don't think there's any benefit to that.
But Vince McMahon will have been out Vince McMahon
Yeah,
if that merger happens.
you're right.
Yeah.
Because then he could have owned his competition
That's
again.
right. Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, going back to that. But, I don't know if Orange Cassidy works outside of AEW. I know he used to. So would he?
He works on the internet. Outside, because I remember
That
him
counts.
outside of AEW just on the internet. Thought it was hilarious.
I got to see him live one time at Wrestle Circus when it was still
Oh,
here
he was
in
here,
town.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
He was in.
Oh man, he was.
I
so
wish I
much
would have
fun
gone to
watch.
Wrestle Circus. We should have gone there one time just to check it out.
You know, there a few people. I don't know. You bring up Wrestle Circus, and I see the look in the wrestler's eyes, and I'm like, oh, that's not good. But I
Yeah.
know that look. I've had that look. I know that look.
Yeah.
the like wrestler. Ooh.
What's the look? What's the look mean?
That look means that promoter had to be a shitbag or doing what we talked about here and all the time of let's use the local talent. Oh, we're starting to get over. Get rid of that local talent. Let's bring in other talent that's going to be the locust, the Independence Day effect. Come in, feed, eat all the resources, and leave. And that's why that company's not around anymore. So it probably hazarded the second one happened.
Right. Yeah.
More than the first
Which is
one
unfortunate because the one show, I went to with my wife, man,
Great
that
vibe.
was so much fun.
Yeah, it was a great vibe. I liked their gimmick. They had the right people. They had the AEW mixed with Lucha Underground.
Yeah.
I would watch the highlights and the shows coming up. I really wish I would have just gone to see it one time.
Yeah.
Just because it existed only for a short time.
It sucks, but I mean that's an all too common tale on the outlaw shows, as Jim Cornette calls them. So yeah, I mean, but circling back one more time, Pac, just keep your belt. It's fine.
For sure.
Yeah, it's fine. Okay.
I
whatever.
think Claudio probably needs to go over, and it looks like this banger of a match is still happening. I feel like he needs to win more than Jericho needs to win,
Yeah. No, they really do need to.
and he's got
their
the
best to
he's got
establish.
the belt. But I guess if anyone's going to get the Ring of Honor heavyweight belt over, it's going to be Jericho.
Maybe.
So if he does get it, like Claudio looks like the legitimate champion, but Jericho's the one that's going to give it the rub, and he will turn it into like a magical gimmick, and he'll have something that he came up with, and people will be all about Ring of Honor.
How insane would it be to look down the Ring of Honor lineage and you're just going through like Samoa Joe, CM Punk, Bryan Danielson,
AJ,
Claudio, like everybody, and then Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't mean that as a bad thing to Jericho.
No,
it just
I know
seems
exactly.
so out of left field.
Yeah, and that's what makes it work. The Cruiserweight title in WWE was working really well, and they're having the same issue that AEW's having, right? You have all these legitimate, great parkour-like wrestlers that get it, but then Enzo got it. They put it on Enzo Amore, and then he was 305 Live, or 205 Live was his show, and it was getting ratings, and he was like the highlight of the show, and everybody hated him, but he had that good heat. He didn't have people changing the channels, and he was actually elevating that belt. So it'll be a lighter version of that with Jericho holding that belt, of just saying, I represent, he's going to come up with some gimmick around honor.
Yeah,
and he's going to trademark it, and that's going to be his new
Or
name.
a ring.
Yes.
He'll have an actual ring.
Yeah,
The ring.
So I'd like to see that. So right now they're still going at it. So
Wow.
you have 15 minutes there. Next, so it is going to be Tony Storm, Serena Deeb, Athena, and Dr. Britt Baker, DMD.
That's weird.
Yeah.
What is it? Why? That's
Well,
weird.
Tony Storm is in the same position that Thunder Rosa is like. Who are you going to put her with? That's going to actually, and it's the same thing that's happening with Jade. You got to have somebody else that's over that's working them.
Yeah.
And who else is over is Dr. Britt, right? And Dr. Britt was so over that everybody wanted to see her lose, right? And for the right reasons. Why you would not want a heel to hold the title? So Tony Storm is just. Tony, you can't be just like, I got an OnlyFans. We need more
Right.
of like Tony Storm, right?
Yeah,
I think the most developed in this match is Serena Deeb. I feel like they started to go down this path that she's the professor. They started giving her a gimmick. She doesn't wear extensions in her hair. She's going to go out there. She's going to go out wrestle. And it's like, to me, she's like, okay, that's interesting. The Athena stuff is just like, okay, it's a play of like your old gimmick, but you're still kind of holding on to what it was. It's not working yet. I'm not saying she can't get over, but it's not working yet.
Are you talking about a Serena Deeb versus Jade Cargill match?
I'd like to see her talk about like these. I'd like to see her be a female Daniel Bryan and just like I can out
I think that could work well.
Or even a better example, one of their agents be the next Dean Malenko, the woman of 1,001 holds, you know, which helped Jericho get over.
Yeah.
It's like, I got 1,004 holds, and I'm going to read them all right now.
Arm bar.
Arm drag.
No, that's a great idea.
was
I
a
think that could work really well.
Yes.
And Serena Deeb is so good that
Yeah.
she could probably do good work with Jade Cargill and make her look awesome.
Yeah, I'd like to see her get her rub. Like the gimmicks there, now give her the matches, and she can work either champ, right?
Yeah.
She can turn on Tony. She's a heel, so she can go against Tony Storm or she can go against Jade Cargill. But right now, Tony Storm is the interim champion. Whatever, I don't know what. Jericho's getting a big swing. I don't know what Thunder Rosa's plans are, but they're probably setting up for that Thunderstorm match. So I just think that Tony Storm is going to keep the title for now. I don't think there's going to be a change tonight.
I think they need to.
He's still getting a swing, by the way.
Oh my god!
Still swinging Jericho?
Still swinging Jericho.
I think they need to establish they also need to give the women like the TV time, but they need to establish the women being able to put on bangers just like the guys do.
Yeah, I agree.
Because Tony Storm can work the Japanese style. She can work the American style.
And we're not seeing that.
Yeah.
You're right.
And Tony Storm and Jamie Hayter have all the chemistry.
Whenever they give Jamie Hayter a shot, the world's going to explode.
Oh, yeah.
People want her to have it so bad.
Yeah.
And like for multiple reasons, but like I want her to. I feel like she deserves.
That's the
legit
match.
shot.
That's a Tony Storm versus Jamie Hayter. That's the feud I want to
Yeah,
see.
they have
when are we going to
great
get to Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker? They've been teasing that for years.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, it's
too.
finally they seem like they're starting to lean into that now, which means unfortunately for Hayter, they're not going to get her. It's not going to get her in the title picture right away.
Right.
I would rather her have gotten the title and Britt and gotten jealous, and then that's how
That
you
would
have
have been a
that
great
feud.
story. I thought
Yeah.
that she would have got the title in that 4-way. Then Britt's jealous, you know, and always trying to screw her over. And like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like that would
Do
have
you
been
guys want? Do you guys want a spoiler?
Yeah, do it.
Sure. Yeah.
And new Ring of Honor heavyweight champion,
way.
the Wizard, the Lionheart, La Champion, Chris Jericho went over dirty.
He
Didn't
got
go over
the-
clean,
oh, yeah.
got over dirty.
Tune in next week when he has a ring made of honor.
Right. So far so good. Yeah, I think
He
that's
got
good.
The Ocho.
Oh, he got his Ocho. The society's coming out and worshiping him for it. I like it. I think it's good. I think Claudio needed a kick in the ass, and taking that belt away from him is a good way to give him a kick in the ass. I want to see a heel Claudio. I want to see the Swiss Cyborg get angry. I'd like to see the Swiss Cyborg turn heel and go after Wardlow.
Oh man, they could put on some great matches.
So we got Daniel Garcia. You know, he's the Ring of Honor Pure champion, and he just saw Jericho win the belt not purely. he did it dirty with a low
did it
blow,
dirty,
so he
yeah.
was not happy with that high five because
Wow.
he didn't do, Ring of Honor is about not cheating, and he cheated. So
I'm gonna enjoy watching this
yeah,
on the replay.
first spoiler for sure.
Nice.
So
That's what folks tune into for AEW spoilers.
yes,
For folks who don't have cable, we'll tell you what's going on. Tune in,
We got you.
like and subscribe while you're at it for AEW
Like.
spoilers on Wednesdays. If you don't have cable,
check and check, like,
That's right.
subscribe and share.
Hey,
So
and hit that bell. You know that'll.
Oh, yeah,
you'll
that
get those
notifications,
notifications
right?
for when Dose Incredibles go live.
hit the bell.
yeah, because sometimes we go live randomly. It might be a late night, and we'll just
Right.
like, let's do it. Let's jump on.
I found you guys randomly. I was going through my YouTube. I was like, they got a live show happening.
Yeah, we just jumped in live. So, all right, let's. So we got a couple. Oh, and then the other belt match we didn't talk about for the AEW belt is going to be the Bryan versus Moxley, which we did talk about. I think the Salt of the Earth seems like he's going to do something in front of his home crowd.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's setting up for a main event for Full Gear with that MJF is going to be involved with. But I think, do we want to see MJF versus Mox, or do we want to see MJF versus Bryan?
I think MJF versus Bryan is a more interesting
Yeah.
matchup.
I think so.
for MJF's first, big feud coming back. Yeah, definitely. I want to see him against
With Bryan.
Yeah.
So he could somehow steal the belt and then have to defend it at Full Gear.
Here's my booking for how this is going
Book
to go.
it. Book it.
So Bryan's gonna win. We're gonna have a rematch at Full Gear again with Mox, and that's when MJF goes
Cashes in.
and cashes in. I think MJF should probably have his big match, but it doesn't seem like his style.
Yeah. No, you might be right.
But if he's cashing in the chip, he's not cheating.
No, it's the heist of the century.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean,
they
he's
turned
got
it
the
into-
chip. It's legit.
Is it biting? That was WrestleMania 31, so that was a while ago. But what a moment when Seth came out. That got Seth over big. Because right at that moment, people really still hated, and they were not accepting Roman. So they're like, cool, let's feed him to Brock Lesnar and just beat the crap out of him. So when he came out, and it threw everybody off because like, wait, the match is still happening. So then they turned it into a three-way, and it became an instant moment. Michael Cole gets a lot of heat because JR has the big moments, but the heist of the century, hearing that you heard Cole's voice in your head, I mean that was a good moment.
Yeah.
That could be a pretty big pop if he tries to steal it tonight. If he comes running out with the chip,
Oh yeah.
so it's going to be interesting to watch that. But I too want to see Bryan and MJF, and I'd like to see it more than once.
Yeah.
They did it with Punk. I mean, they did that over a couple matches, right? And Punk put him over clean in Chicago.
Yep.
And then they did the dog collar match, the Roddy Piper versus Greg Valentine. I'd like to see something like that where you just have Bryan work MJF and it's just like, instead of having like your hand tied behind, like you got to wear a muzzle during this match because nobody wants to hear you. I want to see what you can do.
Right.
A muzzle match.
A muzzle match.
Just keep their mouth closed and just force him to wrestle because MJF can go.
He
I
can
mean,
go, yep.
But like he said, I was like, I'm not going to get dumped on my head. Why should I do that? I know how to work the microphone. Like he's shooting on everybody
Yeah.
when he does that, and I think that's what people do appreciate. And I still love that he's leaning into the bidding war of 2024. He's getting himself over.
He's doing it and he's working me good because I'm like, please don't go. Please don't
Yeah,
go.
'cause it's
Please
like,
don't go.
are you going to want him to go? And now, ironically, having Cody there really adds to the intrigue because you're like, wait, so they probably are friends, right? And now he just name dropped him on TV, and the last person to do that was what, Punk, when he's hi Colt Cabana.
Yeah.
That name drop on another show. So for him to, I mean, he called him the American roller coaster, but you knew who you're talking about.
Right. We know.
So the next up match is coming up is going to be the Acclaimed versus Swerve in Our Glory. Are we going to get 2 title changes in a row? That's a no-no with wrestling booking.
That's that you were talking about. Like we consciously or unconsciously know the rules,
Right.
And I know as soon as you said it, I was like, you can't do that.
Yeah,
You can't do that.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting that they two title, but Tony Khan, that might be his way of saying this is going to be the biggest match. Maybe every title is going to change hands.
That would be wild.
Because the only thing that buzz that he, and we're going to jump into the White Rabbit because WWE has a lot of buzz with this White Rabbit gimmick they're doing, and Tony Khan social media was spoiling that Captain Insano might be making an appearance tonight.
From Billy Madison?
Yeah, well, Waterboy, yeah. Captain Insano.
Who plays Captain Insano?
Paul White.
Big Show.
Oh,
Big Show.
really?
Yeah. Back when he was the Giant.
Yeah, when he was
back in
the
WCW.
Giant.
Really?
So they
Yeah.
got him here. So the tease is that he might be making an appearance tonight. They don't. So
I want to see a bad wig on Paul White to play Captain Insano.
that's Captain Insano. So Keith Lee getting a pretty decent pop there in New York. So it's a great crowd. I've never been to the tennis stadium Arthur Ashe, but I know that part of town. It's not that far from Nassau Coliseum. That crowd gets pretty rowdy. That's ECW country.
I was gonna say, like, it feels like
That is
AEW is doing their best to make the Arthur Ashe their home.
Yeah, and they should. Why not? Like this, that is ECW country, so that's wide open. Other than Philly, the bingo parlor, everyone knew Elks Lodge, Queens.
Right.
This is a little bit bigger than the Elks Lodge. But let's jump over to the White Rabbit.
Yeah.
The first time in a long time that WWE, well, I don't even know if they need to license this music because they're going back to what they used to do when they had house shows and a title change happened on a house show. They would have fan footage, because there was no TV cameras. Why would we have cameras there? But there's cameras, social media cameras there that are filming White Rabbit playing after the show and everybody turning on their cameras. What's your guys' speculation on the White Rabbit? Which I love that song. There's a chance I'm the White Rabbit. And I got to tell you guys, I don't know. It was like a reverse Mandela effect that I was looking into the future. Uh-huh. But I was watching something to do with the Matrix and the new Matrix, and I started playing the White Rabbit, the song. And then a day later, I saw it trending, and I'm like, how is that trending? It's like, whoa. And I was like, is that just for me? And then I realized that WWE was doing that. And I'm like, am I the White Rabbit? Maybe I'm coming out.
Hey,
I don't know it yet.
Any of us could be the White Rabbit.
Hey, Triple H is bringing people back. Why wouldn't he bring back enhancement talent from 1996?
Why not? I feel like Triple H was a big proponent of enhancement talent.
He was.
Matches.
Yeah, he was.
So-
He needs to have that balance. He was
Jeff?
very nice to me.
So there you
Yeah,
go. Jeff.
so there's a chance that I'm the White Rabbit. But who else? If it's not me and I don't know it yet, who would the White Rabbit be in your guys' booking?
I mean, it's definitely Bray Wyatt. And, obviously, what was they're putting out the Who Killed the World?
Yes.
That's from Mad Max Fury Road.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
You killed the world?
You did. Yeah. We did. What's we did? We did.
We did.
Yeah.
But you don't think it's Karrion Kross who was the White Rabbit in Lucha Underground? Because he actually tweeted something out with a rabbit and a hole and a question mark and then an hourglass.
Really? No, I don't.
So
I
here's-
love the White Rabbit. It was the White Rabbit tribe, right? With Paul London, Karrion Kross in Lucha Underground.
Oh, right.
Yeah, they were good. That was a great gimmick.
Yeah.
The White Rabbit.
I didn't know Karrion Kross was in Lucha Underground.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
was
he's-
towards the end.
Before he got to NXT, he was something. I feel like
was better.
and he had and then he got to NXT and I wanted nothing to do with it.
No, yeah, he didn't get over like some of the NXT, and then WWE, and then the
And then I
main
felt
roster.
real bad for him when he got to the main roster.
They're like, wait, you gave him Demolition's hand-me-downs?
Yeah.
It doesn't work for him. But coming back here is good. So yeah, he was when Paul London went down the rabbit hole. They found Karrion Kross. So
somebody I was looking at a Reddit post and this guy got it was very he starts his post off very oh my god, the government's after me, is really weird, but he said he kind of went down this rabbit hole of apparently, so Bray Wyatt posted something about what was it? A place in Arkansas, like Self, Arkansas, or something like that. Talking about.
Oh, really? No,
Yeah,
I didn't see this.
I forget what it was, but something about in Self, Arkansas, and so the guy started like going on this rabbit hole, like searching. Okay, well, what is it? Okay, it's not an actual city; it's an unincorporated town that belongs to something else, and it led him to like a website, and where Bray Wyatt was potentially like, back in the day, he was like a moderator of the website, and either. His username or something that had to do with his username was White Rabbit.
Really?
Yeah, so somebody went down like a real like internet rabbit hole, and when they were like, "It's 100% Bray Wyatt."
Oh, I get it. Bray's doing like a QAnon gimmick. Oh, is that what it is?
That must be what it is. Yep.
He's going to get full creative control now that Vince is gone.
Yes.
So I think anything is possible. I saw the theories of, like, you remember the puppets from his whatchamacallit, his Firefly Funhouse. Mm-hmm. And now they said there's basically a wrestler that represents each one of those puppets. So they have Dexter Lumis is back, Karrion Kross is there, Scarlett is with her, and then you have Alexa Bliss. So they say each one of these wrestlers are going to represent the puppets in real life. So, and they're going to have an Alice in Wonderland type tea party with these guys, not the heel tea party that runs government. Right. Yeah. The fun one, the cheeky ones. So.
I dig it. I think people will get into that. Very easy to parlay the QAnon wrestling fans into the QAnon wrestling gimmick.
You think they'll go that deep? I don't think they'll get like deep into the politics of it though, right?
Not into the politics, but the thing is, the whole QAnon thing started because it was like sort of a cryptic puzzle. Like, come figure out the answer. And it's when you do that, it's a way to empower the people who follow you, because it's like, oh, them figuring it out is like, it's sort of like it's more interesting to them because they're achieving something. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
They're part of it. They're actually unlocking the secret. You're not just pitching them on it. They're unlocking the pitch.
Okay, yeah. So they earn it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They get the gummy center. All right, so I'm going to play devil's advocate. What I'd like to see is you get all serious, the White Rabbit, and then all of a sudden Adam Rose comes out. Don't be a lemon, be a rosebud. And you bring that White Rabbit back, because that was one of the most underutilized gimmicks that should have been way over. As a heel, it eventually would have turned into a babyface gimmick. They try to rush it. That could have been as big as heel Doink, which they also rushed into babyface Doink. They should have kept him as a heel. They had the rabbit that he was working in. I think it was the other guy that was in Lucha Underground. I can't remember his name. He was an NXT guy, really athletic, South African dude.
Oh,
he was.
I know you're talking.
Yeah, they had him doing like a skydiving, like adrenaline gimmick, but he was the rabbit.
Yeah.
So when he was working that rabbit, I mean, he probably didn't want to work the rabbit because you couldn't see his face, but man, it added so much legitimacy, because you're like, this rabbit can go. Look, this rabbit can go. I wanted to see Adam Rose and the bunny. Well, they called him the bunny. Yeah. I want to see Adam Rose and the bunny have the titles.
Yeah.
Because even though he's dressed like a bunny, I mean, he was going hard. And I think that would have been really good. So having him come out is like, I told you to follow the White Rabbit. The bunny's back. And then everyone comes on. You got the dancing hot dog. He does the rose dive. I don't know. I think people would flip out. But, man, they would be great heels because everyone wants it to be Bray. But what if it's Adam Rose? Because that poor guy, I mean, he got sent into retirement because they took his good gimmick and then they put him with that other – I don't even remember what the name of it was. I know there's 4 guys. They didn't know what to do, so they just put them together. And it didn't really work, and then they just kind of sent him into retirement. And he had a great gimmick.
He did. Have you seen him lately?
No.
Adam Rose?
Yeah, I think Adam Rose is massive now.
Really?
If I remember correctly, he's huge now. So like, I mean, Adam Rose was like, if you're wrestling in the WWE, you're a big guy.
Yeah.
Okay, and so, but he, against everybody, you stand next to John Cena, you look like you're.
Yeah, he looked lean.
But but he's cut and everything. Apparently, Adam Rose lately is huge. Like
let's see if we can find
he's
him
been working.
Wait, let me pull him up and then we can take a look.
He's been working out. So I hope it's Adam Rose, and I hope I'm not like just talking out of my butt here, but
No. Oh, is that him?
you have to like look at his face.
Wait,
to,
is that
to see
him?
it.
If that is really him, he looks like Hugh Morris from WWE. I remember old WCW Hugh Morris.
Yeah, Hugh Morris.
He
yeah.
looks like that. Oh my, yeah. If that's him, he is absolutely massive.
He's huge now.
Is that him?
I thought he retired.
Is that him?
I think
Yeah,
that's
that's
supposed
the
to be
yeah,
him,
that's the picture. Yeah, that's the picture I'm looking at. Adam Rose is unrecognizable, now retiring wrestler. Wow.
You're right. He does look like Hugh Morris.
He does, right? Yeah, he no longer part. He has changed his name to Aldo Rose and is taking bookings. So he's back to, because I thought he retired.
Yeah.
Well, that's a pretty big rabbit to come back.
Right. Holy cow.
Oh man! So just so you know, the Acclaim and Swerve in Our Glory, they're still going. Looks like it's a banger. Looks like them.
Of
They're
course,
they're still going at it too. So I expected all solid matches tonight. Is there anybody else, do we think, that who could be the bunny besides the obvious Bray Wyatt or the long shot Adam Rose? Like, who else could be the White Rabbit?
I mean, it can't be anybody but the two you mentioned. It can't be anybody but Bray Wyatt or Karrion Kross.
No new gimmick for somebody.
No, I think there's nobody it could possibly be. And I think Triple H is smart enough to know that he can't do that. Vince McMahon would do something with that.
Vince would swerve us.
Oh,
Vince would be, it's Elias again.
Yeah.
It's Elias's brother. No, wait, his sister.
Yeah.
And they do like a Mrs. Doubtfire thing. But like, I don't think it can be anybody but those two.
Yeah.
I think if it's Bray, everybody will lose their mind. If it's Karrion Kross, everybody will say, okay, fine. But like,
Right.
I don't think it can be anything other than that.
Oh man.
Hey, just so you know, he used to look like this, and now he looks like this. This is like a comic book ad. This guy gets sand in his face
Yeah, exactly.
at the beach,
That's the Atlas, the Charles Atlas
and all he
thing
had
at
to
the
do
back
was
of the
send
comic book.
50 cents with a comic book ad, and he became this.
My gosh, yeah, that is he is absolutely massive.
Also, X-ray specs.
The X-ray specs, yeah.
The X-ray specs were nice. Oh, Keith Lee just missed a massive moonsault.
Oh.
So they're still throwing down. So you don't think there's going to be anybody that's going to... You know who I do hope that somehow comes back, and as part of this, even if it is Bray, I want to see Bo. I want to see Bo Dallas. He is another one that was completely wasted by Vince McMahon and didn't know what to do with them. And it made so much sense. It's like if Bray was getting over, of course you're going to want to work with your brother.
Yeah.
And then he could have been the sweaty Southern preacher with the bolo tie and the suit is too big, and he could have been the...
He has the face.
Yeah. He could have been the chanter for his brother, who is this, this apocalyptic disciple, someone that you want to worship. So I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know what the White Rabbit gimmick is going to look like. But if Bray Wyatt is a part of it, please bring back Bo Dallas.
Do you think they'll swerve us when we think, oh, they're about to bring out the White Rabbit and it's going to be somebody else, but they're coming out to announce the White Rabbit is coming or something
Yeah.
like that, and then we get like another week or two?
I'd like
of
that
build.
if they do that, because you're going to have that. There's the roller coaster, right? Because people are going to be down or bummed. It's like, oh, is it really them? But then and then you bring it back up. That kind of happened with Ted DiBiase when he came back, and he was going to be the 5th member of the NWO, but he just came out to like, no, I'm the 5th. Next week we're going to have 6. I like, again, we're supposed to be going for a ride.
Yeah.
Jason and Mike are on. Say what's up to Jason
They're
and Mike.
both on there.
Yeah.
Jason, Mike.
Oh, Jace, what's up, fellas?
Mike the Industry.
Heel
Jason
Doink.
Garcia.
Yes, Mike the Industry bringing up Heel Doink. Heel Doink is, we got to have a listicle of all the wasted gimmicks. And look, we're still talking about Doink. I was actually wrestling in Mexico with Art Barr and Matt Bourne was big in Portland, and he's like, yeah, did you hear what they're doing with Matt? They're turning him into a clown. They're going to call him like Boink or something. It's like, but whatever gets him work.
Yeah.
And
Work is work.
Yeah, and I had no idea at the time that what it was going to turn into. I wish you guys go back and watch some Art Barr matches with him and Eddie Guerrero's Los Gringos Locos in Mexico City. I was afraid for my life. Like, it was like serious. Like, he was another, and he played a Beetlejuice character in WCW, speaking of like the White Rabbit type gimmicks. He was there for a little bit, then he left, then he got over in Mexico, then unfortunately he passed. But he would have came over with that wave of people that came with Eddie, Conan, Rey Mysterio, Psicosis. He would have been part of that wave, but he was phenomenal. Like, he was getting beat down and he was so over, and the fans saw that I came in with him and they assumed I was his brother. But I was like, I was just a kid. He's like, dude, hermano de love machine. And then when he started getting beat down, they're like, get in there. And I was like, I can't. I can't. I was like Edward Scissorhands. I can't talk. And I'm like, I can't go. And they're like screaming, like, get in there and help him. And I was like, I got to go. I was like, let me see if I can find somebody in the back to go out and help him. I was like, just trying to get myself out of there because they were going to whoop my I was about to get surrounded there. So
Jason says, do you remember when Ted DiBiase almost died from blood loss during a match? Was that a thing? I don't remember that one.
I wouldn't surprise me. Well, his dad died in the ring. Mike DiBiase did. His dad actually died in the ring. But I wouldn't surprise me, especially, so Jason, I don't know if you're referring back to like his Mid-South days. Like, we don't know the Jim Duggan and Ted DiBiase of Mid-South. Those weren't Hacksaw, Yelling Ho, and $1 Million Man. These guys were like, we'll fight you in a bar and break a pool stick over the back of your head type guys. So I'm not surprised that he would have gotten in a match that was like a blood loss, especially if it came from that, Mid-South territory, which was a hot territory too. But man, those guys can brawl.
I was gonna say I can't even imagine the $1 Million Man.
It might be happening right now.
Oh, what's over there?
It might be happening right now. Sesame Daddy-ass! Sorry for the spoilers out there, but there it is.
That's awesome. That's my favorite thing in wrestling right now.
That is so good. That, to me, that is right up there with Crotch Chop. Yeah.
Yep.
That's a good. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Jason, it was Paul Bosch days when him and Dr. Death were a team. Yeah, so that Houston wrestling it was part of a lot of that same crew from Mid-South was Houston. And that Houston wrestling, people swear by it. That Sam Houston Coliseum Friday nights, that inspired a lot of wrestlers, but they came from that territory where it was like, oh yeah, we'd have Wayne, he would have went off because Houston wrestling was there. I had no idea. By the time I moved to Houston, it was a little late, and WWE already purchased the territory by then. But like, you guys have no idea what this was. Like Terry Taylor, man, he was something else. And I'm like, the Red Rooster? So they did have, Tony Khan broke the rules. Sorry guys, this is a spoiler cast. We're doing a watch along with AEW Dynamite, and there was confetti, and the rules were broken. Titles are changing hands left and right.
He had a confetti rule?
He had confetti. No, just back-to-back title drops like that is something else. Back when Ric Flair would stain the whole mat with blood. Yeah.
God.
Man, those Bill Apter pictures. Apter should just do Bloody Apter and just release all the pictures he's got in the locker room of everybody bloody. Dusty Rhodes, Terry Funk, Ric Flair, and some of those mats were pretty gnarly. If you're a wrestler worth your salt, you're definitely wiping your feet before you went in there. But it's like, is it really going to help? Because what's that stain? That stain? Or like we talked about last week, we know what that stain is.
Wipe the dirt off your feet so you don't get it on the blood.
Yeah, staph infections, man. Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't know. You guys want to take a quick break here? I think we're unspeculated out on the White Rabbit. Unless you have anything more to add, we can do a snacks and drinks.
Yeah.
Snacks and drinks. Oh, Adam, that's not better than the Von Erichs hitting every tiny town in Texas with their traveling show. Yeah. There was an unspoken rivalry between Fritz Von Erich and Paul Bosch of like who really ran Texas. But those guys, like the Mafia, respected their territory. So they never crossed the streams.
Have you seen they're casting the Von Erichs movie now?
Yeah.
Zac Efron and
Kevin.
Who else?
Yeah, he's going to be as Kevin Von Erich. I don't know who's going to be Carrie or David.
I saw they casted a few more folks in that, but that sounds amazing. Lots of wrestling biographies coming out.
Yeah, I'm excited about the Von Erich one because that's something else. Well, Adam saw them in in Cisco, Texas in 1987. Oh, yeah, that's peak Von Erich territory times, too. Because in 87, I was lucky enough that they were on syndication, so we got to see some of that world class, which was the inspiration to this opening music, right? We try to get that don, da, 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 don, da, 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 don. And so that was good stuff.
We're going to get hit by the YouTube.
They're going to get us. So, all right, cool. Let's do some quick fake break, and then we'll be right back with drinks and snacks.
Yeah.
Drinks and snacks.
Boy, I'm bored.
Don't be bored. Join the party. Call 1-976-8888. There's a great time waiting for you right now. Meet new friends or just listen in. Everybody's doing it. So call 1-976-8888.
Where was that party?
So, what are you waiting for? Don't be left out on all the fun. Call right now, 1-976-8888. 88 cents per minute billed to your phone. Brought to you by Omegaphone.
Just like you, I was really skeptical about which one of the party lines is really the best. It's 1-976-BEST. It's easier than going to some singles bar. The phone's right there within your reach. And it's a real kick because you get started talking with everyone on the line right away. I got together with this guy I met on the best party line, and I'll tell you, it's fun, exciting, and the best way for you to meet someone new. The best party line. It's just a phone call away.
Do you sometimes sit alone, wishing for the perfect fantasy? Has love passed you by? Do you dream of encounters with a perfect mate? Or spending precious moments getting close to someone you could really love? For just 99 cents per minute, indulge your fantasy. It's live. Call 1-976-DATE now.
Want a beer? Mm-hmm. You know, this is really an interesting six-pack. See how it's completely covered? See the ends? Covered. Mm-hmm. That's so light won't get in. Light can spoil beer. Mm-hmm. And this is good beer, so they don't want light messing around with it.
Well, in that case, why don't we turn off the lights?
Going to get a Stroh's. That's about a 200-mile hike through heavy snow. I know. If you think of it, get two. From one beer lover to another's Stroh's.
I don't know what to do. What would you do if you were me? America's got this beer. It's called Stroh's Light, and it's fire brewed. You know, it's not like any other beer. So I call the State Department and say, let's make a trade. Our cigars for your Stroh's Light. They say, Fidel, you're going to have to forget about it.
It's not the same as other lights. It's fire brewed Stroh's Light.
We're only 90 miles away. We can't even get a decent beer.
Here's a fun fact that you may not know. It was like one of my matches was actually in Brownsville, Texas. And this guy basically that I was working for is a promoter that would run these shows and didn't really care about copyright infringements or doing anything. So he'd be like, oh yeah, I'm going to have Ultimate Warrior. So I was wrestling as Jason the 13th and I got to wrestle quote unquote the Ultimate Warrior. And it was one of those times that it was in these Tejano dance halls where they didn't have, locker rooms that you share. Yeah. So I never even got to talk to this person or anything. So it was just like, is this really the Ultimate Warrior? And just like, and he was basically working the boys. He's like, oh yeah, it's Ultimate Warrior. And the show was packed. And he went out there and it was just a muscle-bound dude, face painted, hair long, had the tassels, and I was just looking and I was a fan. I was just like, that's not the Ultimate Warrior. And at that point, I didn't even know how the match was going to go. Yeah. Because it was just like, I had no idea what to expect. My manager was Gravedigger, who dug me up in Guanajuato, Mexico. It's like basically, I think in Mexico, they were billing me as the La Mumia de Guanajuato. I guess, I don't know if there's like Mummy's there or something. But anyways, Gravedigger was my manager, and just like, so finally I locked up with this warrior, and I knew this is not the Ultimate Warrior. I have no idea who this Gold's Gym dude is, but it's not the Ultimate Warrior. And
did he do the whole bit? Did he run to the ring? Did he shake the ropes?
Yeah, he came running out, and then I was like, I don't even know what to do. And I locked up, and he's like, hey, brother, what do you want to do? And I pushed him back the ropes. I was like, I don't know. Watch the shovel. And he said, what? And Gravedigger was just like, wham! And just like clocked him with the shovel. I was 21. I was like, I don't know what to do here. So it's just like, let's just beat the crap out of him. So the guy, we got DQ'd. Gravedigger came in the ring and started beating him with the shovel. And I was just putting the boots with him. And people were booing and going nuts. And then finally he warriored back. Clothesline Gravedigger, clothesline me. We both got out of there and just left. Got me $100.
Cut that part out. Forgot to cut that part out. Sorry. All right, we're going back to snack time in 3, 2, 1.
We are back. Yeah, that was good times. I got some Tejano dance hall flashbacks. I've wrestled in more dance halls than I care remember, but it don't matter now because we're not talking about dancing. We're talking about snack time.
I just want to say, knowing you now and having had the potential to see that match live, I'm so sad that I never got to see that match live.
Yeah, JJ was in the valley when you were wrestling.
Yeah, that blows your mind. You know that they talk about how you're going to run across people in your lives that that are going to mean something or are going to be, but you didn't know them at the time, so you're just kind of crossed there. Yeah. When you told me you were down there and we spent so many days, I mean, it would have been great because I would have liked to have a place to stay instead of my car, so it would have been good, and I was hungry, I'm sure, at the time, too.
We would have got you some great tacos out there. It would have been awesome.
Oh, we got a big spoiler here. So my Tiny Dumb Arcade says, I am the fake Ultimate Warrior. So finally, I knew this day would come. Not the fake Undertaker, the fake Ultimate Warrior is in the house. So, yeah, so we got some snack time.
Yeah.
Not doing a weird beer. We're going to just snack time up in celebration of some Grand Slam and White Rabbits. So I thought I'd start this year with the 2022 version of the Mountain Dew. It's a mystery flavor, and JJ, you see you're holding it up there.
Yeah.
This is this year's VooDoo, but it is a mystery flavor. I don't know if we have the close-up gimmick camera on.
We have it, but you can't see it. You need to turn it sideways or something.
Oh, that's right. So yeah, you'll have to do this one. There it is.
Mystery flavor Mountain Dew for 2022.
Yeah, it's white. Where last year it was Black Magic.
Was that what it was?
Yeah, I think it was some kind of black. It came in the black can, but it wasn't black like that chewable toothpaste that you get at Lush. It's like, hey, try this toothpaste. And I was like, it's charcoal, but and you start with the. So this one's white. So care to hazard any guess? And we're going to be chasing a snack. Adam says, Mountain Dew has become my dum-dums. I would love some Mountain Dew flavored, a whole line of Mountain Dew flavors of dum-dums. I would eat, my teeth would fall out of my face.
Dum-dums flavored like Mountain Dew?
Yeah.
Why aren't more things flavored like Mountain Dew? It's a good flavor.
It's a fantastic flavor, yeah.
Mountain Dew, call up the Dos Incredibles.
Yes, call us up. We'll pitch it. We'll sponsor us here.
Book us. We want to get booked.
So you guys want to guess what a flavor before we crack this sucker open?
Staying on the Mountain Dew, or the Dum Dums theme, isn't that like the Dum Dums mystery flavor, just the bottom of the barrel, they scrape it all together and, mystery flavor.
Yeah, exactly. That's probably what it was. We think that, there's a think tank that kids are going to love this. So what's that leftover shit? I don't know. Roll it up. Call it a mystery flavor.
Use the question mark wrappers. I'm going to just propose one thing before we dip into this. Do you know that we could taste this right now and describe it for the folks on the internet, or you could save this and sell it on eBay in about 3 months.
That's right.
For $20. You want $20 later, or do you want to taste it now?
Well, you got to do it like the sneakerheads do, right? One to stock and one to rock.
There you go. Yep. No, you're right.
So Adam said Baja Blast is the best thing ever to happen to soda since Big Red. And I think they finally busted out of Taco Bell. I think you can get Baja Blast everywhere.
You know what? We never made it over to Buffalo Wild Wings for that Long Island Mountain Dew.
No, we did not. And I was there last week for the Jets for the sauce.
Oh, bro. I bet they had it.
I didn't even. So we're going to do it again. I got the sauce. But I got a spoiler. So I think I know what this is without even opening it. So not gimmicked. As you can see, this is not open. This is going to be cookie flavored. It's going to taste like a Halloween cookie.
What's a Halloween cookie?
It's going to taste like a Halloween sugar cookie. That's my guess.
Those sugar cookies that have like that big thick layer of frosting.
Yeah,
on it.
exactly. So it's going to be like a sugar cookie. That's my guess. It's going to be cookie flavored.
I'm going to hazard a different guess.
Okay.
This is going to be apricot.
Apricot, okay.
Apricot dew.
Flavored.
Yeah.
JJ, what's going to be your guess? Mountain Dew, VooDoo 2022. What?
Something's telling me.
Adam said it tastes like candy corn and children's tears.
Then I need to drink it immediately. I'm going to go with, for some reason, something's calling out to me to say raspberry.
Raspberry, okay.
Raspberry.
Oh, man. I thought somebody was going to be a basic bee in here and say it's pumpkin flavored. Pumpkin spice flavored.
That's too on the nose for Mountain Dew.
Yeah,
or Jason said maybe it's pizza flavor. Oh, no. Pizzagate Massacre. Wrestlers should start creating characters based on politicians, which they did.
They have for years, haven't they?
Yeah, we had that one, the Trump guy that was in Mexico getting massive amount of heat.
Massive heat. He was like build a wall in Mexico City.
Yeah, it was massive heat.
There was a wrestler somewhere, deep in the South, and he was like a vegan or something. That was his whole gimmick, was he was like this vegan, whatever, and he'd get massive heat, hanging out in Georgia.
Well, it's great, just leaning so heavily into it. All right, let's pop this open.
Right.
I don't think we're going to get a pop like we do on the brews, but we'll try. We got a little... Ooh. Like, subscribe, share. There's the bank teller thing noise that we did earlier. All right, here we go.
All right.
1,
Ooh.
2, 3. Oh, I know what it is.
What is that?
I'm surprised they did. This is not a 4th of July flavor because that's Bomb Pop.
Ooh,
it's what?
That tastes like a Bomb Pop.
100%
Bomb Pop?
Yeah, that's a Bomb Pop.
To me, it tastes like cheap Halloween candy. Like, the Halloween candy where it was like a little box of little Smarties? Yeah. That's what it tastes like to me. It's like Frankenstein's book or whatever the fuck. You know what I'm talking about.
Frankenstein's book, yeah.
That's exactly what that tastes like.
It tastes like little cheapy Halloween candies that you would get.
So they leaned into the candy, so they didn't go with the cookie. But yeah, I think...
last year's was amazing.
Yeah, it was really good.
Last year's Ghost or whatever?
Oh, yeah, that was really good. All right.
That's really good.
Well, we're going to see how this pair... like in a pairing, we're going to see how this pairs with a cup of Indian ramen. Yeah, let me introduce it. So this is from... shout out to our friends in India that are subbing. This is from a company called Maggi or Maggi, Maggi. It's a Chilli Chow Cuppa Indian noodles. So 350 calories are packed in here. So this will keep you warm at night. 16 grams of fat. Total carbs, 45 grams. 6 grams of protein. It's got a nice orange. It's got a little bit of that Indian spice at the top, right? Would you say that's got like a little bit of a masala type coloring?
We got some masala up on top
there's
here.
Let me take a whiff test. Oh yeah. So we'll put this right. I'll bring it over here. Yeah. So there you go. Check that out. So that's your cup of soup, and as you can see, we got that only 2 grams of sugar. All right. Here we go. We'll do the pour. Oh, yeah. I guess we could have... Holy shit, that's hot. So while you're doing that, it did come with a gimmicked fork. So it's like a transformer here. It was folded up, and you can just fold that puppy right in here, and then you just pop it. And then you just got to let that simmer down now.
That smells all right.
Ooh, fog up the glasses. Sorry. There you go. So I don't know how long you get before you get these tenderizing.
You might use the gimmick fork to sort of tenderize them.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. Do you guys have that? I think I'd left out your transformer fork.
I've got them over here. If anybody needs a transformer fork, I gave everybody a shoot.
Yeah, we got a shoot fork. We got a worked fork and a shoot fork. All right. So 350 calories. Wheat flour, palm oil, garlic powder, dried onion, salt, less than 2% of dried carrots, dried tomato paste, sugar, dried peas, potato starch.
Ingenuity. Look, it's like the Gimmick fork.
It's pretty great.
Actually, is like you assemble it.
Yeah.
It's got a little lock in the middle. So if you we don't get forks over here with ramen.
No.
Yeah. Food. Look, in surprise. It's actually pretty. Oh, there we go. Chloride.
Here, put it in the close-up cam real quick so
Potassium.
we can have a good look.
There you go.
Sorry, I was doing water stuff.
There you go. Get a little spot right there.
Look at that.
By the way, we are not food health specialists,
No.
and we don't recommend you eat these things for dinner. VooDoo Mountain Dew and Chili Chow Cuppa noodles. And I love how they spelled Cuppa with a C-U-P-P-A.
Yeah, Cuppa. Just a cup of this, couple of that. So yeah.
But, have a vegetable maybe instead.
Well, there's some dried peas in
We got
here.
some dried, yeah. We got some.
Yeah.
I always tell my wife, she's like, we need
We
need more vegetables. I'm like, hey, I think pizza was classified
You got
as
some
a
greens.
vegetable at some point.
Eat
so
your greens.
Pizza is mostly vegetables.
See, there
I
you
know
go.
They said we're good at pizza company.
We got tomato sauce happening. It's fine.
That's why Mike the Industry's the best. He's like a merch machine. He's like fork 2-pack. All right.
This fork you didn't get one of these, JJ. This is an amazing
That
fork.
I was watching Jeff put it together
Quite the
earlier.
ingenuity. And you even make the...
I would toss you the one yours, but I don't want to make you spill your soup.
No, that's a good idea.
All right. I don't know if we're ready to dive into this or what.
Do your noodles feel tender?
They're more than they were before, but then again, I've eaten, those dried noodles on bread and made it a sandwich when they weren't ready. Sometimes that el dente, so you need the crunch.
What was the sandwich you told me about? Was it a bread sandwich?
No, yeah, it was the bread with the ramen noodles. But
Bread with ramen noodles?
If you didn't want to wait too long, you would just leave it in its square form, and then you put the powder over like a condiment, and then sandwich it up.
They got ramen burgers nowadays, so I mean.
Oh, I've seen that.
Yeah.
So using the ramen as a bun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
I'm going to give up the shoot fork and go with the Gimmick fork.
Well, that's what always happens, right? It's usually that what considered peasant food eventually becomes delicacy, right? Like you go to a Italian restaurant and they're like, "Oh, put some oil and pepper and dip your bread in that." And poor people, from back in the day is like, "We did that because our bread was stale." It's like, not because it wasn't a delicacy. We're trying to survive.
And that's how Olive Garden was founded. All right, I'm going to go in, man.
Do it.
Yeah, do it.
Going in with the Gimmick fork.
All right, I'm gonna hold us up a little bit so we can see the noodles are. Get a nice little shot there. There we go.
Okay, that's excellent ramen as far as ramen goes.
Good ramen.
Let's see here.
Yeah.
Do you want to close up this ramen before I dig it in? I'll just see if I can hold it up. And
Just put some on the table there.
Here you go. All right. Look at that hang. That's good. That's good ramen hang. All right, I'm going in. Mm-hmm. Okay. Is it spicy? Is it hitting?
I don't think it's too spicy.
No.
All right.
It's pretty straightforward. It seems a little less salty than other ramens I've had.
Than originally advertised.
Yeah.
So you can roll it up. Did you guys do the Northeast gimmick where you take the spoon and your spoon is the holder so you can spin your spaghetti on the fork, but the spoon keeps it in place?
I learned that at an Olive Garden when I was a kid.
That's
Somebody
it, right?
told me that, and I was like, "That's the genius. That's the most genius thing I've ever
It changes
heard."
everything.
Right?
I did not.
This is definitely a good time to ASMR some.
You're right. I was gonna say, subscribe to the Dose Incredibles ASMR.
Subscribe. Share.
For more slurping.
Can you cut a
content.
subscribe promo for us, please?
Yes. So while you're eating, while you're at it, and you're probably watching on your phone or your tablet, like, subscribe. I'm Sure. Jake's gonna smoke his last one. I gotta tell you, since we're kind of doing the sommelier thing and like what pairs well with Cuppa, Chili Chow Cuppa? Well, Mountain Dew VooDoo and Jason's last blunt. It's the perfect pair.
Mountain Dew, Mountain Dew Bomb Pop.
All right, what else are we talking about today?
All right.
What we got?
We just did an hour and a half on wrestling.
My goodness.
The stock video iPad guy keeps trying to swipe right, but it isn't working. Mike did say he would have accept that as a last meal. All right, let's see. What we got queued up? So we're going to jump to, since we're getting for appetites, let's start with Barbarian. So we're going to get, we might want to throw up that spoiler sting. So we're going to get a little spoiler in here. Yeah, we're going to be spoiler in here. So Barbarian. So actually Barbarian was kind of a surprise hit. Like you hardly saw any trailers for it, except in the theaters.
It's making a lot of money, right?
Yeah, it's doing very, very well. It has the A24 vibe, but it's not A24. So let me pull this up here. It has Bill Skarsgård.
That's Disney, bro. Barbarian's Disney.
That's Disney, right? That's 20th Century Studios, if you will. All right, so JJ, you did not see Barbarian.
I have not seen Barbarian.
You not see. No. So it is a 2022 American horror film directed by Zach Kreger. Stars Georgina Campbell and Bill Skarsgård. And here's when we get into spoiler territory because he's not in the trailer at all. Justin Long, one of the producers of It. From a producer of It, and that's why they got the Bill Skarsgård.
That trailer made me laugh when it was just like from one of the producers of It,
just one,
from a guy who was on set. Comes Barbarian.
So it's I'm going to give you the log line, and it's quicker than a hiccup. It's not here. The film follows a young woman who finds out the home that she rented via Airbnb has a dark secret. So the trailer starts off where she shows up. It's raining. It's not a great neighborhood. It takes place in Detroit. To quote Kentucky Fried Movie, now take him to Detroit. No, not Detroit. Not Detroit. But the whole thing starts off. She can't get into her Airbnb. She opens the door. Bill Skarsgård's there. Skarsgård. So he has that look. He's clearly a heel. He's burned into people's brain as Pennywise the Clown. So I feel like this movie already started trying to lure people to set him up for the swerve just with the trailer.
Right.
And Mario, you summed it up perfectly. When you're like, the trailer, that's only the first 10 minutes of the movie.
It's the first 10 minutes of the movie.
And then that's it.
By the way, Adam's dying to talk about Pearl. Well, that's coming up. We're talking about that next.
Yeah, Pearl's next. I'm even going to put on my gimmick glass because my real glasses got too foggy from the cup of noodles.
This is kind of an excellent cup of noodles. Am I wrong?
Yeah, no, it's good.
Pretty solid.
I'm digging it. They're actually, I was worried they weren't going to get, but I still got steam coming from mine.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you're okay with these spoilers. We're also going to be talking about Clerks 3, and that one we're going to really tiptoe around because those are important spoilers that we don't want to ruin anyone's experience. But at this one, we did. We're gonna go for it.
Yeah.
So. It's good because it has, it gets it a little bit into primal fear. Like she's more of a, Mario, would you call her petite? And then he's overwhelming to her.
He's just very tall.
He's
right?
very
Isn't
tall.
He like 6'6"?
Yeah, he's up there.
Yeah.
So just having that, and it's pouring rain. He's like, they call the number, they match it up. They did Airbnb and HomeAway or Verbo pay for
one of the other services.
They pay for it because they called them out both by name. It's like, she's like, I got this house on Airbnb. Well, I got it on Verbo. I tried to call the number and it just goes right to voicemail. And then another one went right to voicemail too, and they matched it up and it's the same number. So, but again, they're setting you up for this swerve. So then she's like, oh, I guess I'll just leave. And he's like, well, it's silly. There's a bed here. Why don't you just stay here? And then, of course, she's nervous because, like, I'm in the middle of this neighborhood.
That's an automatic
Weren't you
no.
Pennywise?
Yeah.
I don't know if I can stay here with you.
And then he starts doing things like offering her drinks, and then she wouldn't drink it because she didn't see.
Yeah, I mean,
him
that's an
open.
automatic no.
Yeah. And then he's like, you can take the bedroom, and she's going through his wallet. They're just all the tropes are there, just like setting it up. But then she goes to bed. And that's pretty much where the trailer ends. But then this is where the real movie begins, right? She wakes up and the door is open. And he's having like a night terror, like Homer Simpson against cobras. You know, he's on the bed and he's like, cobras, cobras. He's in the couch and she goes up and then she scares the shit out of him. She's like, what are you doing? She's like, did you open my door? He's like, no, I didn't open your door. So one thing leads to another. Martin, am I missing anything here?
No, that's the first 10 minutes of the movie so
Yeah.
far. You're describing everything from the trailer.
Yeah, and you saw a door close, so you know that somebody else might be in the house. So they make it through the night.
Wait, are we getting into spoiler territory here or not? We're going full spoilers. Okay.
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, JJ,
So the thing about this movie is, if you've seen the trailer, you know what the setup is. You kind of know what it's going to be to a sense. But there's a sequence, there's a cut where all of a sudden the movie cuts away to Justin Long for half an hour.
Yeah.
And you're just like, what is going on now? And then you realize, oh, this movie is not trying to be whatever Hostile or whatever, like, kind of like underground monster torture movie. This movie's trying to be like Pulp Fiction. And it cuts away to a completely different story, which you don't even know how it's even related to what's going on.
And
until you do.
You do, yeah, and then he has like a good 30 minutes of his story, and then another big thing happens. There's a big thing that happens right before just the Justin Long scenes that shows like that takes you out of like everything you just got set up since you saw the trailer. Something happens, and you're like, oh shit. Didn't see that coming. Now this movie, I have no idea what this movie's about. Now you feel like you went to see a new movie. Then the same thing happens with Justin Long. Big scene happens, ties it in with the first story. And then they have a time jump. And then they jump back to the 80s. And you're like, what the hell is going on? And this is all showing the house. Now the house started off in a dilapidated area in Detroit. When she was there for a job interview, she's like, you can't be staying there. So there's a bunch of transients and they're all just kind of wandering around so you don't happen. So now we had 3 different stories. Like Mario said, it feels like Pulp Fiction, but they're tying them all together. But you're getting now, okay, this house was home to some kind of serial killer. But then you see, and he goes through all the tropes, the guy in the 80s of like, He's stalking a girl. He sneaks into her house as a repairman. He leaves the window unlocked. And like, okay, he's going to go back and kill her. But he doesn't go back. He go back and get her. But then he does something completely different with her that you don't expect. And you go into, then they take you into the basement, which has another sub basement. At first, all you saw in the basement was this hallway. And then it had an extra room with a dirty bed and an old camera. And then there's a fake wall, and then they go deeper into the basement, and then there's a...
That is a deep underground cavern in their house in Detroit.
Hats off to Justin Long. Justin Lin? Long,
yeah.
For playing the Hollywood scumbag. Because he did it well, because he's like, look at all this extra space. I'm going to be able to put this on when I sell it. And then it's like a deeper room that's got like a nest, and it looks like a pile of blankets. And then there's an 80s video of a mother teaching you how to breastfeed your baby. And you're getting all into it, and you're like, what the hell is going on down here?
And then you're like, you're 90 minutes into the movie until you finally see what's going on. They stretch it out for so long. And this is what's really cool about this movie, really brilliant actually. It's just like, it could have been a typical dungeon monster, people held captive kind of a thing, but they take that and just stretch it out for the entire length of the movie across multiple storylines before they show you what's going on.
Yeah.
Is there jump scares in this movie? I feel like there's not.
There's only 1 or 2. There's the one when you see, there's definitely a people under the stairs, another old 70s, The Unseen with Stephen Furst from Animal House. There's another one. The Boy did it recently with people living in the house, and then they kind of explain what's going on in Detroit and underneath. They had a good couple of fake outs. You know, they had the girl in the beginning getting chased by looks like somebody that's like some homeless guy that's like running like, "Hey, lady!" And it was a great fake out because later on you find out he was trying to help her. And
well, this movie is really built on fake outs. Here's the thing. It's like you don't cast the guy who plays Pennywise as that character unless you're doing a fake out, right?
Right.
The audience already knows this guy is the bad guy, right? Yeah. This guy is obviously the bad guy. He was Pennywise. I think he was a monster in something else. But the whole time the audience is thinking they're just waiting for him to turn. You know?
Yeah, and that I fell for that.
And that creates a tension. Folks are just waiting for that. And they do that. That's on purpose. That's totally on purpose. And then you've got Justin Long, who plays the Hollywood douchebag, who gets pulled, comes into the story halfway through. And you're waiting for him to turn babyface.
Yeah.
He's set up as a heel.
Yep.
And you're like, well, he's going to turn babyface by the end and he'll get redemption. No, he doesn't.
And they even they brought you so far for that hot tag where he had the callback. He's just like, I'm not a good person. I need to start fixing my mistakes. And then he gets worse again.
Yeah.
So many swears in there. So, and then the whole title. So I'm trying to figure out what the title means.
I never figured it out.
It's the street. It was like the address is like Barbar Street, but it looks like Barbarian.
That's the address?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
It's the street, but it looks like a word that's like Barbarian, but it's not. But it was, I mean, well done, Disney or 20th Century Studios, that they snuck this gem in here. But wow. I think the word of mouth is really helping this one. Because, again, you didn't really expect much from it. They didn't have a lot of marketing bucks.
Right.
And I think when people see this, they're like, oh, wow. Yeah, you got to select. Because Mario, you're the one that told me, like, when you go see this, make sure you don't read about it. And we're still not, we danced around the spoilers, but we didn't give you the big hits. So when you know.
You're still not going to be able to put it together in your mind. It's just.
Yeah. It is something like, yeah, even if we told you, it's not something you might even be able to register.
It's something I'm the whole time going,
yeah.
Wait, what?
It's all swerves. The whole movie is swerves.
Nice.
Even like when you mentioned the transient in the street, you get a swerve there.
Yeah, that was a great swerve.
You get a swerve on what the monster is.
Yeah.
Try to explain to me what the monster is.
I know, yeah, I can tell you that it's just like what it probably is, but it wouldn't register. And we were all expecting it to be Skarsgård. Oh, Mike was saying he was the villain in the Eternals. You were expecting him to be the heel, and that's the spoiler: is he's not the heel. I'm gonna try to do a body interpretation by. We were talking about the unseen of a spoiler. That's my spoiler. That's my spoiler for Barbarian. Like, subscribe, and share.
I'm going to guess slap milk.
Yes.
Slap milk.
Tag the Barbarian studio in that. Disney, tag Disney. They need help. They need our help.
They need cash, so.
That's your next short right there.
Yeah, it is. But I don't know. We used to do the emoji rating system, but yeah, I guess it would be a baby bottle, and a boob.
All right.
Oh, the cherries. They would do that. But yeah, 2 thumbs up, 5 stars, whatever our rating system is. This is a movie that I will enjoy watching again at home for somebody who hasn't seen it.
Right.
I think you can watch this again and catch some stuff that you didn't catch the first time. Because when you're excited or anticipating for a movie, you're just like, when you actually get it, it takes a while for your brain to register it.
Yeah,
and then that second time,
you probably missed a lot that first time around.
So that second time, you're like, okay, I'm going to do it. But yeah, very, very dark Pulp Fiction. Mario, nice. I think you nailed what that is.
Nice.
So Mike said, I'm guessing Hank Azaria out of the depths. It's very... Close. So it's probably going to be streaming. I think the new Pandy Rules stuff starts streaming way faster than normal. Like Clerks, you're already going to be able to get Clerks 3 within like 2 weeks.
Is that true?
Yeah, it's true.
I saw it was on pre-sale somewhere.
Yeah, and I was like, how is that already possible? So
damn, I should have waited.
Yeah. No, it was where I'm looking forward to seeing it again in the theater. But we're not going to jump to that. We're going to stay in the horror vibe. Yeah. Let's go to Pearl. Pearl is the prequel to X, the movie that was shot by Ty West in secret, back to back with that. And this was this was an art piece more than it was a horror movie. This could have been, if I had my druthers, and I'm glad they did it, right? It probably didn't cost much, so they're going to make their money back.
Right.
This movie was a flashback for Mia Goth during the scene. Like, this would be the dream scene that happened when Pearl snuck into bed with her.
Okay.
But man, all I know is why I did enjoy it. Like, even though I was like, okay, I could have watched this at home and been fine. This didn't need to be a theatrical experience. I'm glad I did it. If she wants to, she's the face of horror. Like, there's just something about her, and seeing her in this trilogy, that I want to see her in more horror stuff, that we're going to be seeing her in conventions. Maybe that's not what she wants. She's like, maybe I want to do other things, but sure. She's got a job if she wants it. What do you think, Mario?
I mean, yeah, I think that there's a lot to really like in this movie. I would say if you're going in with the expectation that this is another X, you'll be disappointed, possibly.
Very disappointed, yeah.
This is very much an A24 film. This is like something A24 would buy and show with no previous kind of like connection. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's sort of like an origin of a slasher movie, but set like if it was shot by the director of The Wizard of Oz. Who directed Wizard of Oz?
Sam Raimi.
Okay, yeah, directed by Sam Raimi of Wizard of Oz. It's done to like replicate that feel of a 1930s big Hollywood sort of like feature film.
Yeah,
whatever you call it. Sound of Music. It's got the big Technicolor. Everything's painted really bright.
I love the vibe it created was so good.
Yeah,
and
so
it felt like it was the third. Yeah, that was the Alamo pre-show was all about the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, exactly.
There was a scene with the Scarecrow.
Yeah,
and it was exactly what you kind of expected. And first, she's like, she wants to be in pictures and she wants to dance, but then she took advantage of the Scarecrow in the middle of the cornfield.
Yeah,
but she did it classy because it was the 30s.
Right. But wouldn't you that Scarecrow head? Did that grab your attention? Because I was just waiting for that Scarecrow head to come to life.
I was waiting for those eyes to open.
For a shoot, it looks like the Wizard of Oz Scarecrow mask.
It did.
Wow.
Yeah, the eyes. And that's why I kept jumping to the eyes and the legs, because like the legs look worked, but those eyes, you were just waiting for them to shoot open. Yeah. So, but it was good. It gave her a reason. Even the bike. She rode it like you would expect somebody in a big dress in the 30s to ride it. Like, dun, 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 dun. So they went all in. They gave the backstory for, but they still didn't really. They gave the backstory for her parents, but like they still didn't show why she's basically a psychopath.
Yeah.
But she did a really good job, and I guess it helped that it was back to back. You saw young Pearl have the same mannerisms that the crazy old lady Pearl that we saw in X movie have, like peeking around the corner, really, really curious. A little bit of envy to the point where it's just like, I like that. I'm just going to touch it. I don't care if it bothers you or not type of thing. So did you get a little bit of a cleaner version of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre feel when you went inside that house towards the end?
I mean, yeah, definitely. With all the rotting food and the corpses and stuff. I got that TCM vibe.
Yeah, so that was good, but
how about that like 10-minute speech she gives at the end?
I kept looking at the clock. I was just like, wait, when is she still going?
It's like, and like Ty West, he's good at a lot of stuff and he does certain things to like jar your expectations, but it's just like he's like a friend of hers is there and it's just like, please, you can talk to me. Tell me what's wrong. Okay. She goes on for 10 minutes.
And it was like a role-playing game. Yeah. Like, if your husband was here, what would you tell him? And she told him.
Yeah. And it just goes on and on and on. And it's good. And it's one unbroken take.
Yeah. She is fantastic. Like, you can't take your eyes off her in here. She's the best. I mean, obviously, this movie's built around her, and rightfully so. Like, everything about, like, her performance. For me, even though I say you don't have to rush out to the theater to see Pearl like you did for X, I'm excited to own the trilogy, because here's the spoiler: if you stick around for the end credit scene, you get a fast forward. Now you're in the 80s. A VHS video starts playing, and they start playing Obsession, and then they shoot around, and it looks like the Hollywood sign, but then it's Maxine with 3 X's coming soon. So Maxine is also played by Mia Goth. So now you're going to see the forward version of that in the 80s. So you're going to get the 30s, 40s with Pearl, the 70s with X, and now you're going to get the 80s. What happened to the Mia Goth character Maxine after the events of X? Did that change her? Because now you're talking about, to me, I was like, you can go deep and like get into like a little bit of reincarnation of, or like passing the baton, like emotional twins of like, now you passed on this pain that's going to go from Pearl to Maxine, and that's why they looked alike. But like, if time doesn't exist, right, when you reincarnate, you could be reincarnated with somebody right next to you because time doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
I love that they can play with that with Pearl and Maxine. So I'm looking forward to owning the Ty West trilogy. And what are they going to name it? Is it
the
just
Ty West trilogy? The Ty West X trilogy?
Not
the X trilogy.
X or the XX?
The Triple X.
Triple X.
Triple X.
Triple X. Here's the thing. What I'm looking forward to is the fact that I think Ty West, more than anyone in a while, can recreate the 80s. Have you guys seen House of the Devil?
Mm-mm.
Check out House of the Devil. It is a slow burn, and I can understand if you don't feel like sitting through it, but just watch the first 15 minutes. This movie feels like it was made in the 80s, and it would have come out in the 80s.
I love your idea.
He replicates it perfectly.
I love your idea of, like, because we know it's coming, right? The rumors of the Friday the 13th. There's been some Instagram drops and some Twitter drops from Sean S. Cunningham saying Jason wants to send you a message. So the rumor is that the lawsuit is clear. Give it to Ty West. Man, I love that idea, because
give it to Ty West.
He creates a vibe, man. He creates such a good vibe, like you said, and it feels like you're watching an 80s movie. Did you did you like X? Did you see X or?
I didn't see X, but I remember like a lot of the hype around that started coming up about it, and it was just one of those like, okay, I'm gonna watch it, and then I never did, and then now I'm like, well, so should I go watch X and then Pearl?
I think now just wait for Pearl to come out.
Right.
I mean, Pearl to be at home streaming and watch it. I think you'd appreciate it more and get more out of it if you do the back-to-back.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't know, Mario, correct me if I'm wrong. Did Pearl not feel like it was better because we were overly hyped for it because we loved X so much?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's definitely an X spin-off that, I mean, I think that the gimmick of it would still be great without the X connection, but the X connection brings you in.
Got it.
Oh,
sorry, I got a spoiler here. Britt Baker is bleeding really bad from her nose and mouth.
Oh.
So she looks like she's going for another bloody T-shirt, and there's a confrontation going in the ring. But it looks like Tony Storm went over, and I don't know what kind of swerve's gone. But I
love Britt Baker's bloody T-shirts.
bloody Britt. So, but anyway, yeah, I think my honest opinion, I would say wait and watch them back to back. I don't know. Could you do a machete cut with this and watch Pearl first? That would be interesting.
You could.
Would you get the same thing? Because you wonder, because you remember the Star Wars, the machete cut, they tell you to watch Phantom Menace halfway through Revenge of the Sith as a flashback, and you appreciate it a little bit more. I feel like Pearl is within X, like I said, inside when she's in bed with her. I'd see it as a dream sequence. They could have shortened it and made that Pearl scene.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past the filmmakers to maybe plan that out. You know what I mean? An alternate way to watch the trilogy so they piece together. Yeah, and Adam calls out early Greta Gerwig in The House of the Devil. Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
she has her death in that movie is really jarring.
Oh man, there's a huge spoiler right now.
Let's hear it.
Oh my God! Holy shit! Saraya Paige just debuted in AEW.
You gotta be kidding
Oh
me.
no!
What a massive pop too! I got chills.
Wow.
Get a close up on that. I can't even hear it, and I got chills seeing her walk to the ring. Oh my God!
I gotta pull up the Twitter.
Pull up there. She is face to face with Britt Baker right now.
Of course she is.
Oh my God!
I was wondering because Tony Khan was really selling the hell out of this.
Oh my
out of this show. And I was like,
God.
somebody's got to be coming, but who could it be? Paige.
It's Paige. She
Wow.
came out of Saraya and got a match. So she chased all four. So Serena has some kind of unholy alliance with Jamie Hayter, Britt Baker, and Reba Not Rebel. Wow, that's big. She got a good pop too. I'm
Wait,
happy for her.
Saraya is with them?
No, she walked them out of the ring.
Oh.
They were starting to go face to face, and they all scattered. Britt did a perfect reaction shot too.
Wow.
Oh, that's big. That's huge
is
news.
huge. Yep.
Oh, she's getting choked up. So they must be doing some kind of chant. This is definitely her house because I'm glad. Ironically, Triple H probably would have took her. Could have got her back.
He could have.
But this is huge for the women's division. They needed this. They really did. We were just talking about like how Britt really didn't have anybody. You get Paige who can work the mic and just be her.
Yeah.
That's Saraya.
Yep.
Oh man, I'm very happy about that.
Big get.
Yeah,
right
that's
there.
a big get. Sorry, I know we jumped into our ex, but that was a big one. She's still in the ring drinking it up. Drink it in, man.
I mean, that's big. That's CM Punk level big.
That
Yeah.
is- yep.
She still hasn't grabbed the mic yet, in case you're wondering. She
doesn't have to.
No, she's just eating it up. And picture-in-picture, double screen, they're really doing it up.
Look, we're here to give the live updates. Look, we got the Saraya gimmick up.
Yep. So she's hugging it out with Tony Storm, and she's hugging it out with Athena. Okay, commercial. Whew, that was a lot. Dude, I got chills. I got freaking chills.
Wow.
That was great. All right, jump back to that. Sorry. So we'll
it-
fix that in post.
Right, there you go. So I saw something on Twitter. Is Pearl I think it's like the end of the movie, and they have Mia Goth hold like this biggest smile she can get for like
This
3
smile,
minutes.
this smile on screen right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She holds it for the entire length of the end credits.
Yeah, and it was great, and it had the very triumphant music, and it had the circle kind of closing, and she just held it, and she had the eyes, and it was great. That's why I'm this movie, like I said, even though you can wait, you don't have to watch it. It was pretty spectacular to hear that music and see that on screen. It had that very old timey vibe.
Was Pearl's husband at the end of Pearl the same guy from X?
Yep. So he was the same guy, and that's why he knew, because he walked in onto when she finally did snap, and you knew she was going to snap, and he knew there was something wrong with her. So remember, in X, you didn't see it, but he kept saying, stay away from her. she has a lot. You just need to keep your distance from her, because he knew if she got too close, it'd bring out old Pearl, and we did get to see old Pearl.
Wow.
Mike said she should have dressed as Captain Insano. Yeah, you can't bring out Captain Insano now. You should have did that to open the show.
No, you
can't follow.
You can't bring up.
So, but that's what we're going to recommend. I think go different. You're in a very unique opportunity. I'm going to say watch Pearl first, then watch X.
Okay, right on.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that's viable, because I think that might even be a more satisfying setup to Maxine.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, totally. But
That cast.
they're very different movies.
Yeah, and that cast for X was so good. I mean, besides Mia Goth, I mean, Jenna Ortega, Brittany Snow, Kid Cudi, Martin Henderson was great. I think the casting was so strong. There was no cast members that really they jumped out at. They didn't jump out at you as much as they did in X.
Okay.
Like you felt like you were watching something iconic with X with that type of cast. Where here you're watching, this is really good. The projectionist, that was kind of cool for your film heads in there, right? Showing how to work a projector, and he lives in the projection room. So I thought that was kind of.
I like
cool.
how the projectionist was in a suit and tie.
Yeah,
to do his job,
right? Because he got a. I saw that Alamo Drafthouse actually is hiring a projectionist, and one of the requirements is you got to stay cool under pressure. So what is that? So what is that like? If the film melts like that happened for that one day, you got to be ready to splice it quicker than a hiccup.
Well, I mean that projectionist in Pearl was pretty cool.
Yeah,
he had the sleeves rolled up. He had the cigarettes.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. He had the porno movie.
Yeah, he was had the Howard Hughes feels. He was
very ahead of the time. He was this is from France.
Yeah, we need to. That's what they love, the arts.
Yeah.
She's watching. He shows her a porn on the big screen, and she's like, "Is that legal?"
That porn was raw too. Like I've never seen one of those old timey porns where it's like that raw.
Yeah.
It's always just like dancing naked and having tea or whatever.
Yeah. I don't know if it'd be a dated reference when it's like, and they show the bottom too, and you're like, it looks like, Don King is giving you a piggyback ride. If you know what I mean. So definitely worth checking out. So do you guys want to do another break before you want to jump right into our last one? This one's going to be big, and we're already getting emotional, and I think we're going to get a little emotional for Clerks 3.
No, we can do a little be right back real quick.
Let's do a BRB and let that down.
On all new releases at Rogers Video.
Hi, Video Sam's got exciting news for you. You can now rent a video overnight and hire these great movies from only 99 cents. But the best news is that by purchasing our special package plan, you can have this VCR absolutely free. Ring now, 892-3311 for details of this amazing offer. You could have a video at home tonight. Remember, 892-3311. Video Sam's libraries are convenient to you.
Movie tonight on video. Movie tonight on video.
You can rent a video player, too. There's a store near you, sweetheart.
Movie tonight on video.
They're helpful and friendly with films for the whole family.
Movie tonight on video. Movie tonight on video.
All right. Coming back to your face. Is your face ready?
Yes.
My face.
Is my face. My face is ready. So that's good, man. We did I feel a little warm inside. Maybe it was the noodles.
You had the
tequila,
noodle warmth.
Then a little tequila, maybe. Maybe it's the Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
It's all feeling good, though. So just
VooDoo
in time,
Mountain Dew.
It's time for the main event. It is time for the Bryan Danielson versus Mox main event, but it's time for our main event. And JJ, we are going to dance around the spoilers and try our best not to spoil it. So if you do have the earmuffs, you got the basic premise of what Clerks 3 is going to be all about, right?
Yes, sir. Yep.
All right, so we already know that was in the trailer, with Randall Graves having a heart attack and kicking it off, which is gets very meta. And now I see why. Kevin Smith was talking about this not too long ago. He said his wife and his daughter were getting very emotional because they're like, why did you have to write that in? You had a heart attack. You're basically writing in. He's like, I have to write. That's what Clerks has been about all along. It's been my life. These are my friends. A lot of these people weren't actors that we brought in. I have to write about my life. And I just had a freaking heart attack. And he wrote about it. And I don't know about you, Mario, but did you expect to cry multiple times during Clerks 3? Multiple times, not just one time.
I did not. And let me tell you, I was texting you the setup to this movie because I got there late. It's Fathom Events set this up, right? And there was no trailers. No. So I ran by the specs to get Milk Duds. And so I was coming a little, I was like, okay, it'll be 30 minutes of trailers. No trailers. So I ran in a little bit late. Even it was at one of the other movie theaters that I don't usually go to, the other brands. They didn't even turn off the lights in the theater. Right? They didn't turn off the lights in the theater. And then it's just kind of it was just one of those other older movie theaters. So I kind of settled in. I was like, damn it, I'm late. The lights are on. What the hell? But then the movie still got me. You know what I mean? After I overcome it. No, I didn't expect to cry twice at Clerks. And there's so much to criticize about this movie if you really want to be a dick about it.
Oh, yeah.
There's so much you could point out and poke a finger at, blah, 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 blah. There's a lot of strange things, but it kind of comes together in the end. And I think anyone would, if someone said this was a bad movie, I'd be like, yeah, I can understand why you think that. But,
yeah, that's the thing is you wouldn't say that it's a great Kevin Smith Clerks 3 movie. I'm not going to say that all of a sudden you're going to start, oh, maybe there's whispers for an Oscar campaign. Right. No, that's not what this is about. This is a love letter to the View Askewniverse, where it started and where it ended. And so we got them in their 20s, then we got them in Clerks 2 in their 30s, and then we get them here in their 40s. And I do have to say, and this could be controversial, I like this better than Clerks 2. I walked out of Clerks 2 feeling, it was good, it was fine. But it was the same feeling I got when Mallrats. It's yeah, it worked. It was good.
I do not think that's a controversial take. I would agree.
No?
I would agree that this is a better movie than Clerks 2. But only because this is like Rocky Balboa of Clerks.
Yes. That's
Clerks is Rocky. Clerks 2 is Rocky 4. You know what I mean?
That's a good way to put it. That's a very good way to put it.
So, yeah, it does this. It closes the loop, grounds it back to reality. And again, man, God bless them. They look old. They all look old.
Yeah, you kept saying it's just what's with Jay's teeth? It looks like the mask.
Jay got some veneers or something, and man, when you see it, it's like Who Framed Roger Rabbit kind of veneers, and you're just bro, I'm glad you're looking. You feel better, but man, on camera those look insane. It's
man, Momenter Dog Mites. I don't know if it said, wait, there's a Clerks 3, and I feel like this has been a little bit of a hidden secret too, because he went the Fathom Events route.
There is a Clerks 3. We watched it last night.
Yeah, I remember I went to actually see the Canelo Triple G fight afterwards, and why are you late? I was like, yeah, I just caught a screen of Clerks 3, and there's the Clerks 3. It's the same thing. So it was just they went to Fathom. This worked for him so well, and he actually explained it. You missed it in the beginning. They had a documentary, and then they had a documentary at the end. But in the beginning, he explained it. He's like, hey, they came to us and that whole Jay and Silent Bob reboot thing worked, and then you did a tour and you sold a lot of streaming. It was we have some extra money. You want to do it again? He's like, yeah, I'll do a Clerks 3. Nice. So this is a very strategic route. This is very specific to his fans. He's not competing with the regular movie market. This is just like, hey, this is your fans' Vars. We're going to give you this.
And we've said this before. Maybe make peace with Alamo Drafthouse.
Please, for the love of
because
God.
it was at the movie theater where you got to buy your ticket at the snack bar. You know what I mean? It's like one of those ones. And you're just, where do I get a ticket? And then they say, oh yeah. And then you buy, you do everything in one transaction from the guy. And then they don't have the butter machine separate. It's like behind the counter.
Yeah.
It's like inconvenient. So it's just like, it was at those movie theaters, which no heat to them. But by
That's
the way,
why they got to have Fathom events. They need a gimmick to pull people in.
I was like walking through that theater though, and it's it's a little run down. The bathrooms are dirty or whatever. The carpet is like shaggy, but I was like, man, it'd be dope if we bought this place and just took it over and filled these 30 screens with stuff, just like whatever
we want.
Anyway, but yeah, it'd be cool if this was. It would have been nice to see this at one of the other brand movie.
And here's a good piece of business, right? And we can put this as a spot. Why does Kevin Smith have heat with Alamo Drafthouse?
It was, I don't know the specifics, but it was back when they had the blog and someone dropped a spoiler about his movie or something. And he got into, he for a while, he was arguing with people on the internet. So he had heat with Alamo Drafthouse.
Really?
Yeah.
And that's a shame.
If I remember it correctly.
It's like this is made for, he's the other director that was born from working at a video store, right? Because I think he's more based on the Randall character, not the Dante character.
No, he was going to play Randall originally.
He was, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. But knowing that they bought that, the Quick Stop, right? He owns that in IRL, or does he? Or no,
I could have sworn he
did.
He ended up buying it.
I thought he ended up buying it, and he's getting a theater in Jersey as well.
Yeah, he's buying up real estate. I think he owns the Quick Stop, and behind it, he's got his little podcast studio and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's it. He does it for the podcast studio too.
Do you know if he still has that comic book shop out there?
He's got a few.
He does the Secret Stash.
Yeah,
that's still out there too. Yep.
I had an opportunity to go out to the Secret Stash and to hit up the Quick Stop.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So
way smaller in person, right?
It really is, because you're like, how did they do anything in here?
Yeah. I'm excited. My son's going to Seton Hall, and we're going to Jersey in a couple of weeks, and there's a little part of me is like, how far is that from?
That area is really nice.
Right?
Yeah.
I feel like it is.
It's really nice.
But for him to come, be basically born of a video store clerk and then to turn into a director, that's Alamo Drafthouse. Like Quentin Tarantino helped put Alamo Drafthouse on the map, because you knew that, like, back in the 90s he was going there. He was, the whole Pulp Fiction thing, you can get a glass of beer, and he was like, I feel like that was going hand in hand as that was raised, coming of age. And it's disappointing, because I would have loved to see that in an Alamo Drafthouse for sure. But we settled for the Fathom Events gimmick. But we are going to be seeing that November 14th. They'll be here in Austin for the Convenience Tour with a Q&A afterwards. And that's going to be really different. So, JJ, you should definitely grab a ticket.
For sure.
But this is going to be, again, it's a very emotional piece. He started to, if you had to put it on the table, your favorite Kevin Smith movie, I mean, you got to put Chasing Amy in there. I mean, it captures the 90s, but that was a very emotional movie. Like, you got the emotions. Like, Dogma was a great movie. Clerks was a great movie. But Chasing Amy was great and had a lot of emotional depth in there for the time period. You had the goatee and Ben Affleck, but he started dancing with that again. You're like, oh, wait, why am I getting... What's this salty discharge? What's happening?
And he was kind of like, the whole movie, he's shooting on himself, right? Like, I think that the vibe I got... Did we already spoil it for JJ? Sorry. We already did, right?
No, we didn't give why it got all emotional.
Okay, so I think part of what... at least what stood out to me is just like, I feel like Dante and Randall are the two sides of Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
Battling each other.
Yeah.
And he's shooting on himself the whole time and criticizing things he's done in the past. Because if you know his stories and you know his stand-up, you'll recognize a lot of the things that happen, right? You'll just remember him mentioning it. So I think that's kind of like what he's going for. And man, it's hard without spoiling it. So I'll just leave it at that.
Well, I mean, we can say that you get the dichotomy of a sibling relationship, but then a parental child relationship of who is the parent, who's being the mature one in this relationship. And then emotional stuff, which Clerks 2, I would put that as like almost slapsticky. Like that got into the mall rats. Like, yeah, they were going for the gags. So to take elements from Clerks 2, bring it into Clerks 3, and add the emotion to that of stuff like you were cracking up, like, wait, from the donkey show? And then you're like, wait, what? And I loved, what's their buddy's character's name that he came back? They met him at movies. It was the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I can't remember his name in the movie, but the guy from Clerks 2.
Elias, you know, so he's the Jesus guy.
Yeah. And
crypto for Christ or whatever. They got into, and then there's an emotional moment, and then he has his basically his battle with his faith. Like why, so I'm gonna give a little spoiler because this is the comedy spoiler. It's just like basically he takes responsibility because him and Randall got into another argument, and then he's like, stop taking the name and taking the Lord's name in vain. He's going to smite you. And then that's what the trailer scene when he has the heart attack. And he's like, oh my God, I can't believe you actually did what I said. And then he has this crisis of consciousness. And then he starts flirting with evil crypto instead of good crypto. And that worked out well. So I just didn't. Yeah, man, dude, it was, to me, he hit all the marks.
But honestly, like you were talking about Clerks 2, he kind of takes the Clerks 2 stuff. And it's just like, oh, you remember Clerks 2? You like it? Rah, smash it!
Yeah,
I'm gonna break it all.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he did not play it safe with this. Like even the I guess the safest he stayed was his R2D2 and C3PO. He called it out, right? Those guys kind of stayed the same. Where other people were kind of revolving around these guys.
Yeah,
but that were still basically the same people they were.
Yeah, I think that if you're a fan, you're gonna enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, so they did bring back 37 Ds from the first Clerks. You suck 37 in a row?
Yeah.
So they brought all those people back, and she looked way older. So
we all do, bro.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. I say that as I have all this gray coming in my face. Like, you look older. It's like, so do you, Dick.
That's one of my favorite bits right there. She's 37
in
a row.
Oh, yeah, that was big. They brought that. They honored all the bits in there for sure. And then they got some friends in there. So the meta version of it is just like, oh, I'm going to make a movie. I got to live my life, and to do that. So they start trying to cast themselves.
And you get the hits, you get the audition montage.
Yeah, that was good.
You know what I mean?
You had to get Ben Affleck in there. I was waiting for Matt Damon too, but they only got Ben.
Oh,
yeah. So
I'm glad that they're friends again. I'm glad Ben Affleck is appearing in his films again because he was big in his. He's in a lot of Kevin Smith stuff early.
He is, yeah.
And then he kind of like went and did his own thing. But I'm glad that he's back. I'm glad that they're friends, and that's sort of even part of it because if you're in the know, you know that there's a story there. I think, yeah, it was a feel good movie, even though it was really sad in a way.
It was sad and it was feel good, But again, that almost makes you like, was it sad because in a way we are dealing with our own? We're getting older, right? Because when they're in the 20s, when they had Clerks, he's not supposed to be here because he has a lot his life needs to do, and he has a lot going on. And man, there's going to be so much. I can't wait to get the hell out of here and start living my life. And then we saw what happened in the 30s. Now we see that he's back at the store. I mean, he owns the store. I think that was part of 2. So he got that. So it's not the way he turned out, just like most of everybody's life, right? It's not the way it turns out. And I think that's where people start to get emotional because you can empathize with that. It's just like, shit, I still wasn't supposed to be here, yet I'm still here. And it's 20 years later.
Right.
So
I think when I was walking out of that movie, I feel like I didn't hear the voiceover part you talked about.
Oh, dude, I record. Should we play? Can we play it?
Will we get popped for that?
There's no music playing. It's just him talking.
Let's do it.
So let's try it. Should we try it?
Pull it into the mic there.
All right, because it was getting to me, and I was like, I should be recording this because there's nobody here right now because it's a Fathom event.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Fathom events. Like, subscribe, and share.
Yeah.
Not you. It's a different Fathom event. All right, let's see.
I've been to some really good Fathom events, so I'm just...
Yeah, I did see the Woody Harrelson movie live as a Fathom event, so we'll...
See, there you go.
Yeah, all right, here we go. Let's see if we can play Clerks 3 voiceover. Doesn't have any spoilers in it, but it's still pretty emotional.
During the pullback shot, at the very end, you hear John Gorka's Beautiful. I'm from New Jersey. And it was so lovely, I left that moment alone and didn't put in what in the script called for the voice of Smod. That would be me. And this is what you would have heard. Randall Graves spent the rest of his life running quick stop groceries whenever he wasn't making movies, with each film financed solely by Crimson Crypto Studios. At a screening of his final film, the Asbury Park Press asked him to sum up a life spent satisfying both the public's demand for cigarettes and soda, as well as their appetite for the many movies he made after his celebrated debut, Clerk. The 90-year-old Randall Graves replied, "I always thought the jobs would have been great if it weren't for the fucking customers. But as it turns out, these jobs are great because of the fucking customers." He means it, so do I. Thank you to everybody. Whoever walked through the door of that store and made me think, somebody should put this in a fucking movie. Somebody did. Thank you.
Dude, I got chills
That's
again.
beautiful.
That was good, right?
That's beautiful.
Like hearing that over the overhead in there in the theater, like people split, and it's not that people weren't in there for the movie, but they're like, "Oh, no post credits." They
Sure,
just
yeah,
they just split, and I just sat there because I wanted to kind of take it in. It's like, this is the last Clerks. I'm going to sit here,
Yeah.
look at all the people below the line, just check it out, and then all of a sudden he came on as the voice of Smod and started talking, and I was like, man, that really got me, and that's when it really hit me how. Like, wow, this was a really cool experience to get that Clerks 3. So it looks like we didn't get cut off because there's no music in there, right? So I think we're good.
Right.
We're in the clear. And that was spoiler free. But you see how the emotion?
Yeah,
I was just thinking of that he really was just honoring his past. So if you're a fan of Kevin Smith, you are going to be thrilled about it. If you never watched a Kevin Smith movie before, those would be the people that I would be interested to see. If this is the first Kevin Smith movie you're exposed to, I feel like you'd be okay. I feel like you'd be okay with this film. If you started to think that Kevin Smith was going down and you liked him before, but you like him less and less, you're gonna like him even less.
Right. My first experience with a Kevin Smith movie was Mallrats, and I remember people were like, "Oh no, you got to watch Clerks." So Clerks would come on TV, like one of the stations would be showing Clerks. I had no clue that it was supposed to be in black and white, and so I'd switch to Clerks, and it was in black and white, and something about it made me think, oh, this is like a documentary about the movie or something. Oh, I don't want to watch that. No, I want to watch the movie. And it was like many years later, my friend's like, oh, let's watch Clerks. I'm like, all right, great. And then the black and white, and I was like, I could have seen this movie ages ago. But for some reason, I thought, this is a documentary about this movie, Clerks.
And the making of explains it, but they also, it's funny, they put that into a gag into the joke of like why they shot in black and white, and spoiler, they don't want to spend any money on a DP,
right?
So Silent Bob becomes Shooter Bob, and he explains why they're going to go with it in black and white. Not that the reels are cheaper, to do that, and they add it into a gag. So they do a really good job of honoring it. I like the well-placed flashbacks. Not just for the gratuitous flashbacks. I like that they somehow, even though they're way older, they started shooting the scenes from Clerks in Clerks 3 for the movie that's going to be, well, the working title's called Inconvenience, and he eventually turned it to Clerk. But that was a gag too, right? The whole time Jay's looking at this fucking stupid title, Inconvenience. But they go from the real scene in Clerks to then the scene, them shooting that scene, and so cool. it has a couple of black and white jumps to color. So again, cool. it's a great love letter to Clerks. Mike said when he worked at a gas station, a guy came in every day, wrote him a letter. When I left, I signed it, "Meet your dreams," MEAT. And to this day is the mantra. I feel like that's That's a Clerks IRL moment.
Is it wild in Clerks 3 how Rosario Dawson has not aged a single day?
She's the only one that
everyone
doesn't
else
look
got
older.
50 years older.
I remember seeing like the first pictures like that came out. You know, when they're first pictures released from Clerks 3, and then everybody's just like old, and Rosario Dawson's like, "Hey, look at me."
She's like, I want to meet her in real life kind of
Right?
thing too, because like she goes from, and you can tell, and there's the documentary that was after the movie for the Fathom events that showed them all getting together, and when she gets together with them, she slips into the mode that probably she has when you're hanging out with friends you haven't seen in a while. It's like, remember when we saw the Donkey Show? Like she's her, but then she's also Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So for her to jump around, and then she goes all the way back to like Men in Black 2, that she can jump around with this type, and you can see her in dark, gritty stuff too. She was great in the Grindhouse flick, right? Death Proof. She was great in that. Great high kick into that heel kick into the face. Stuntman Mike.
right.
So I want to meet Rosario Dawson in real life. So out of the 3 movies today that we talked about, and JJ hasn't seen any of them, which one did you say, JJ, this weekend, go and see?
Why aren't I watching?
Yeah, this is the why aren't you watching? I would say you might not be able to go see Clerks 3 because it's a Fathom event and it might be over. Or else that would have been my pick. But if I had to flip a coin between Barbarian and Pearl in theaters, I would say go to theaters to see Pearl. I mean, go to theaters to see Barbarian, watch Pearl at home with X.
Okay.
And we do have confirmation that Adam said he watched Pearl first and then watched X, and it worked for him.
Nice.
So we got confirmation.
I believe it, yeah.
So go see Barbarian for the swerve, and then go take in the beauty of, but because, you know, for being a horror movie, there's something about, they're beautiful. Like there's a beauty to a lot of the terror, right? It helps us release these horror. And Ty West, his cinematography, his choice in shots, even in Pearl, creating a vibe like we try to do here, right? We want to create the Muppet Show. We're trying to create a vibe. He creates that vibe, and like he commits to Pearl, so that's that time period. He commits to X, that's that time period. He's, like Mario said, he's masterful at creating that. But enjoy it at home. Turn off the lights and enjoy that. You can get that at home and not in theaters. So do you agree with that, Mario? What would you say?
I would think it would make an excellent viewing experience at home.
All right, cool.
Nice.
So, JJ, we're going to give you the final spot, the high spot here. Like, I know we were talking about this a little bit earlier, because for those at home know, JJ's kind of he's our good luck charm in a sense that, you know, we came up with that spot, why aren't you watching? And we turned it into an entire show, and that turned into a bunch of spots and got us a lot of the right clicks, the likes, the subscribe, share. So we want to give you the final. This is the go home. I just gave you The Office. This is the go home spot. So let's go for what are we going to chat about?
So I wanted to do something kind of different because I know we're all about the horror high spots here.
Yes.
On Dose Incredibles, and as we start to get into spooky season, my favorite season of the year.
Yes. As the skeletons dance behind you.
I want to talk something a little different. I want to talk about YouTube, the creepy, the dark side, and I don't mean like the weird, bad dark side that they have to have people
moderate.
Moderate. No, I mean like the dark, like the creepy, the unsettling. You know, the people making this fantastic content.
Yeah.
That, you know, if you know how you can go down a YouTube rabbit hole and you just watch video after video, and then somehow you end up on this weird YouTube channel, and you're like, what am I watching right now?
How did I get here?
At 2 a.m. and I'm really unsettled. So as we, like I said, as we get into the spooky season,
it's a great season.
I wanted to recommend some channels.
All right.
That have, you know, some of the series for these channels are done, but they're still a great watch. And I had, you know, just a couple. I have like a whole list here, but just to kind of get you into that mood, and kind of, you know, one of those things where it's late night, turn out the lights, and start watching the weird and unsettling and creepy side of YouTube.
I love it. So this is basically another Why Aren't You Watching
This is most
YouTube
definitely.
edition.
Why aren't you watching YouTube?
I love it.
I watch so much YouTube, and
Everybody I talk to watches only YouTube now.
Yeah,
we're evolving.
I'm YouTube
This is
heavy.
a Cronenberg movie.
So the first one, the first channel I want to recommend, it's a classic. You may have even heard of it, called Salad Fingers.
Salad Fingers?
Salad Fingers.
All right.
And it is quite possibly one of the first 9 episodes, or 8 or 9 episodes of it, are just the weirdest. And it's an animated. It's animated shorts, and it's about this character named Salad Fingers.
Is this a creepy pasta?
No. This is from some of this will be one of these will be based off of a creepypasta for sure. And it's this animated. This guy, it looks like he's out in the middle of the desert of a post-apocalyptic world, and he's got these long fingers, these long creepy fingers, and and he's always talking about his brother coming back from the Great War, and the music for it always sets the tone, sets the mood, and it's like it's just right there enough. It's right in the background. And it's there to help you be unsettled by all the imagery.
Really?
And the imagery is, it's all animated, but it's rotting corpses potentially. It's weird, like demons, like these personal demons become personified, and he's got this creepy British accent, and so. And he has these little dolls that he puts on his fingers, and he has whole conversations with them.
Really?
Yeah. It's
that's him right there.
Yes, salad. That's what's his name?
Are his fingers made of salad, or are they made for grabbing salad?
They're
salad grabbers.
I don't think there's a single salad to be had in this entire show. And so and you'll see in the background there's just nothing. He's just essentially out like in a desert. Middle of nowhere. He lives in this house.
Okay.
And oh my god, it's creepy. Like the first I'd say like 8 episodes are just like, what am I watching? Oh my god, what am I watching?
How long are the episodes?
They're pretty quick.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're not going to probably maybe spend more than 5-10 minutes on each episode, if that. And then I'd say after that you kind of I feel like the creator is believing their own hype, or they're trying too much, or whatever it is, instead of kind of keeping it, or maybe they're trying to evolve, and instead of kind of keep it where it belongs.
Got it.
And so extra creepy, definitely 1 a.m. Turn out the lights, throw on some Salad Fingers. You won't be disappointed.
Mike said the chapter has some great horror content. Oh, that's for Mr. Nightmare. But he said, Salad Fingers. It was the mainstream weird. Feels like OG monetized creepypasta.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And it comes from like an old version of YouTube, back in the day. And all of a sudden you run across this video called Salad Fingers, and you're like, what am I watching right now? But then you go and you show all your friends.
Yeah.
Salad Fingers. I want to watch Salad Fingers.
All right.
Next one up is based off of the Slender Man creepypasta that came off of the internet. There's a couple channels. The big one that kind of really made things popular is MarbleHornets, and that's based off of it's in this universe. This guy is making a movie for a class, whatever it was, called MarbleHornets. I don't think they ever even explained that. And then, so his friend just kind of like drops off the face of the earth, kind of. And so this guy, the protagonist, goes through, and he's got all those mini DV tapes. He's got all these tapes, and so he's just looking through them, and he's like, what is all this? And then you see, oftentimes off in the distance, it's like the camera will pan, and then you're like, well, what was that? So like you'll scroll back and on the screen, and you'll be like, oh, that's Slender Man off in the distance.
Oh,
and,
wow, yeah.
And you start to see that Slender Man is haunting that the video maker, and that's kind of why he was like, all right, I'm whatever, like, or he gets kidnapped, and then so he's watching these videos, and then it starts happening to him, and there's all these creepy characters, and it's very much about building suspense.
Yeah, and you say, I feel like the modern day, like before we had the internet, right? The urban legends are what turned into those type of movies that like you would pass this down, like watch this VHS, or did you watch Faces of Death, or I heard this happen here, or did you ever hear this story? But now I feel like this is the modern day myth telling, but now you're going to be doing it on the internet via YouTube and adding some, like, it's almost like all the imaginary stories we made up back then. Now we got some production value and some budget.
Yeah.
Right. And then the movies turn into that, right? Mm-hmm. It Follows. Slender Man was a movie that followed that. And that new movie coming up, Smile, that has that vibe, like, and it's just literally a creepy smile. Mm-hmm. So when you're telling me that, you're almost hearing these are the modern horror myths that are going to create the movies of the future. Right.
Oh, most definitely. And so all these creepypastas coming off the internet, like, they're starting to make their way into into the public and into Hollywood. So there's MarbleHornets, and there's a couple other very well done other channels who kind of still based off of that lore. One's called EverymanHYBRID, and the other one's Tribe 12. I started watching Tribe 12, and then it's just one of those things that you fell out of for some reason. But Tribe 12, if I remember correctly, is very good. One of the big ones I definitely wanted to talk about on the show today is called Backrooms.
Oh, that's funny. Mike he literally typed it out.
Oh, there you go. See,
All right, so that's a double plug right there for Backroom. What is Backrooms? I like the title.
And so Backrooms comes from a creepypasta from a website that shall not be named. But basically, the premise is, what if, they're basically like, if you're not careful, you could basically clip into a different reality, into this place called the Backrooms. Ooh. And the Backrooms are this unending yellow wallpaper, this the LCD lighting kind of. And just the stuff just goes on forever, and you don't know where you are. And the original creepypasta about it was, be careful what lurks inside the back rooms. Essentially, you're not alone. And so this guy, there's a couple Backrooms channels, but this main one by this guy named Kane Pixels. He's like a teenager, and he's just making this amazing content.
Oh, man,
and so
great. Is this it right here? Is this the Backrooms?
Yeah, that's the Backrooms, and that's the monster right there.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And so that's if that vibe, that whole look just goes on forever, and people and so it's kind of like a lot of found footage stuff of people who have like clipped into the Backrooms. Just like it starts with somebody making a movie, and then all of a sudden he just clips into the Backrooms with his video camera, and he's walking around, and he encounters this monster that you see on the screen. And so more and more you're starting to get into, like, he's really building the lore of everything. And there's this in universe, there's this company called Async, and they've discovered the Backrooms, and they have all these ideas for the Backrooms. It's infinite storage. You can house people there, like they're going to make apartments and housing, and they have all these great ideas, except bad things are happening.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so
it's such a basic looking room, but it right near you, like you said, your imagination goes wild.
Yeah.
You got the hallways from Us that have that same vibe. That looks like the Catholic school basement that I actually went to school. Like, can you go downstairs and go get those crates? And like, oh shit.
Nope.
It has that vibe there. But I like that you're talking about, like, now you're crossing into, this is a pocket universe, right?
Exactly.
That you're not part, like, once you go there, might be different laws than you're used to, right? Because those borders are their own rules, their own laws. The code is different there.
And so what's great about a lot of like the YouTube content, and you'll see if you go down like the MarbleHornets rabbit hole, the Backrooms rabbit hole, is if you go and you look in the description, they'll have another video, and be like, oh, what's this? And basically, it's this video. It'll be like a weird promo video for this async company or whatever. And if you're paying attention to little details here and there, you'll see, oh, these details are in the main video. And, you start seeing that, like, reality is clipping into the back rooms.
Oh, wow.
It's...
That's good, man.
And it's still
This is a YouTube channel?
This is a YouTube channel. And this guy it's right now, it's very young in it's in its infancy.
Right.
So you
That's
can catch
cool.
up, and you'd be like, oh God, I can't wait till he posts the next thing. And there are communities that are like, okay, trying to come up with theories about what this is. And it's amazing. Somebody I saw, Mike, posted I think it's Bo is Vert.
I don't know how to pronounce it.
I can't remember how to pronounce it. But basically it's like, what if all your demons and all your self-loathing and everything during the pandemic just became personified? And how do you beat that? And how do you live with yourself by yourself?
That's cool. I like that.
And
I'm watching this tonight, probably.
Yeah, it's.
I'm looking at clips on YouTube over here where y'all can't see on the screen.
The imagery is. I remember at first I was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna watch that with the lights on."
And that has a great, and I think that's why the Sandman was so popular, right? It's just like him creating, your fears, but this is taking another step further, right? Because this isn't like a production company trying to feed you a piece of content.
Right.
This is like a mysterious content maker that is touching with a little bit of like, this could be real kind of feel. And like the modern days, the future is for entertainment is going to look so different, but it's going to be like creepypasta and anime. Get used to it.
Pretty much, yeah. Oh yeah, 100%.
But these are all great jobs. Yeah, Mike. It's funny that he's kind of going lockstep in you with a lot of the ones he was talking about.
Oh yeah,
augmented reality game. I can already see that's something I'm gonna like really dig. And like you said, this is a great season. We're gonna be creating all the horror content. It's October. It's great all year round, but this is its busy season, right?
Yeah. And I don't want to. There's a bunch of stuff. I'll just start naming things here. The "Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared" videos.
I love "Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared."
Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared.
Is Adam still on? He showed me that one.
Oh
yeah, "Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared." Check out post content. That's one. It's this guy living in his house, and he has multiple demons and ghosts or whatever haunting his house and haunting him, and how he's dealing with that and weird things. It's
blurring reality, man. That's what does it.
Check out Dad's tapes, as
I used to do that a lot. I got in trouble.
Don't check out Dad's tapes.
I used to get in trouble with doing checking out Dad's tapes.
But basically, you know how like in the movie The Ring, people watch that VHS, like, and it's this video where you're like, what am I watching? But why is this so unsettling? These random images.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what the gist, I'd say, of Dad's tapes. And this guy's dad who passes away, he's like finding his VHSs, and and so basically at the end of like I think each video, he's like, hey, if anybody recognizes anybody, email this, call this number. Like I think it's a working number.
Wow.
Let's see.
Your bleeding reality.
Can we call the number right now?
I bet you could. I don't have the number, but like if you look it up, there's a number. And then finally, there's this thing called "This Room Does Not Exist," and apparently that's getting some Hollywood love.
Really?
And so basically, it's these people who are in VR. Like there's a whole new VR experience, and these people who are in VR and who are trying to escape, and it really blurs because the VR experience is 1-to-1 with the real world. And so they're trying to escape VR somehow, and the VR is constantly fighting them
Oh, that's real life,
So,
though.
yeah.
I mean, we're stuck in, that's
Yeah.
our reality, and we can't figure out how to get out of it.
And so like they're like, oh, if we need, so like the AI like reboots if something's wrong, and something's
Oh, man. So
And
did you watch the last episode 2 of the new season of Rick and Morty where it brought back Roy? The episode was great because it was Summer Does a Die Hard, and it's all a bunch of Die Hard references, but Roy splintering, so the game crashes, so Morty's consciousness, Mario, splits into every single non-playable character in the game, and the only one that can go in there is Rick as Roy to try to convince Morty that everybody's Morty, right? So and then you get a religious vibe to it, but you get the VR vibe to it too, and oh man, it's so good. So to see that that's happening in YouTube in real life, that's why this stuff is working so well.
And what's great about this one I found is there's a studio of people, like a bunch of friends got together and they put this together, and they're called Lexel Studios. But what's even better is you can go to the website and you can see everybody's bios, but the website is another layer to the videos. I'm like, oh my God, what am I?
Right, you're walking through a haunted house and you think it's the exit, and then it turns in, or you have the dream within a dream that you, American Werewolf in London, oh, I'm good, I'm in the hospital, nurse, and then the nurse,
Yeah,
exactly. Or try to exit the haunted house and you enter an escape room.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
Well, that's a good way to put it. Man, if that's my near-death experience, I'm going to be pissed. All right, that's good stuff, JJ. Yeah, and like Mike was in lockstep with you. He said Dad's now does 24-hour dance streams and YouTube boxing matches. YouTube is the future. All right. Boys, I think that's a show, right?
I think that's a show, gentlemen.
We got that. So we're going to be doing a Monday show because we're going to kind of have a wonky October. So we're going to be going live on Monday, and then we're going to take a week off. Then we got some horror content that we're going to be packing in before Mario jumps over the water, going to the other side.
Ooh, to the dark land.
Yeah, the other side of the
homeland.
Ocean. Yeah, so we're going to try to pack in as much as we can before we go live because, again, like you, our high spots, and the spooky season is the good season. So that's why that Mountain Dew should have been pumpkin spice, not melted bomb pop. So I don't know. How do we end this? Do we end this with a Snoochie Booches? Do you scissor me daddy ass? There's so much we got to end.
We're doing
or do we just do an awkward Pearl smile as you fade us out?
There you go. I like that.
You want to do that?
All right, everybody hold that smile into the camera until the logo rolls. Ready? On 3, 2, 1.